Dear listeners, thank you for your incredible support in helping our channel grow. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, so please support us by subscribing and helping us reach this milestone. Now let's start the story. Present, Linus, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I sprint to the C-130, not because I'm worried, but because I can really use the exercise. The normal guards are on duty and I announce, "Crypt." They respond, "Kicker." I state, "You guys need to ramp up security because there's a chance someone might attack us." He says, "Sir, you need to tell the pilot about this immediately. He's inside the C-130. I command, "Well, for right now, I want you to go on alert status. I have 2 more men coming which you haven't seen, but they know the challenge response. Also remember we have 2 of my team away from the plane, but they should also know the challenge response. However, we do have Jennifer Donaldson and 3 others that might not know the challenge response, so don't get trigger happy." They respond, "Yes, sir," and I watch them start springing into action. Now to find the pilot. Present, Matt and Jim, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I run into the office and see Jim and Megan asleep hugging each other, so I smile. Megan could be just the thing Jim needs to snap him out of his divorce depression. I slip up to the side of his cot and nudge his shoulder. He wakes and whispers, "Matt, what the hell is going on?" I answer, "Jim, I don't have time to explain everything, but Jens feels like the airport, and more specifically us, might come under attack. So, it's time for us to earn our keep. I guess there's some sort of special C-130 here where we're to meet Linus and then deploy to defend the airport." He responds, "Matt, with that kind of a situation, I'm not leaving Megan here." He tries to wake her, but she doesn't wake up, so he says, "Screw it, I'm going to carry her." I smile as I watch how carefully he picks her up and say, "All right, let's get moving." Jim's doing a hell of a job carrying her as we run towards the C-130. I see it's a beehive of activity. Jim looks at me and asks, "Are they deploying what I think they are?" I answer, "It sure as hell looks like a ground-based anti-aircraft Gatling gun. Shit. It even has radar and I bet it self-tracks any target." Jim comments with obvious surprise, "These guys really mean business if they have the resources to field something like this. Didn't you say Linus has something to do with these guys?" The guards see us approach and I yell, "Crypt." They respond, "Kicker. If you are the 2 that Linus sent, he's waiting for you inside the C-130. I answer, "Thanks, we're the guys." We barely get to the C-130 ramp as Linus meets us and orders, "It's a good thing you brought Megan. Jim, take her inside and get your butt right back here." Jim heads inside as Linus continues, "Matt, here's your equipment, now gear up. Make sure your comm set works and get your butt up on the roof of the hangar across the way. Make sure you don't release any of your weapons unless we authorize it." I look and I'm shocked because I have an M4 and a tactical harness loaded with mags and frags and 2 shoulder-fired Stinger missiles. I gear up, put in my comm set, and check communications. Radio test, "This is Matt." Linus replies, "Matt, from now on your call sign is Sierra 1. I reply, "Sierra 1, in transit to OP." Present, Jim, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I'm distracted as hell when I see the inside of the C-130, but I sure don't have time to screw around gawking. I place Megan on a bed as a guy comes over and says, "I'm a doctor. What's wrong with her?" I reply, "She really tied one on last night, passed out and hasn't awakened since. Please take care of her." He responds, "Well, she's in the safest place she can be. I'll take good care of her for you. I don't want to leave her, but I have a job to do." I run back outside where Linus catches me and states, "Here's your equipment. Gear up, do a radio check, and get to the top of the main building. Don't release any weapons unless I command you to." The M4 and tactical harness don't surprise me, but the 2 shoulder-fired Stinger missiles are a pleasant surprise. Now I know I can keep the C-130 and consequently Megan safe from any attacks by air. I put in my headset and call, Jim requesting a comm check. Linus replies, "Okay, Jim, you're Sierra 2 now, get into position." I take off and reply, "Roger, Sierra 2 headed to OP." Present, Mike, Captain M. Undisclosed location, Washington, D.C. I finish my phone call with Jennifer Donaldson and wonder how the hell she's taking the information I gave her. It was probably a breach of security. No, it was a huge breach of security, but it's about time she knows, as Paul Harvey would have said, the rest of the story. I know eventually she's going to be pissed as hell at me, but I never finish my thought because one of my team comes into my private office and interrupts, "Sir, we have several issues which require your immediate attention." I think, oh hell, what's gone wrong with the Oplan now as I wheel myself back into the control room. I study the main screen. It's split between the rescue of Elizabeth Morgan and the Robinson airfield, and I immediately realize what's going on. I go into command mode and order, "Connect me to Lima November, The call sign of the Cobra gunships escorting the rescue helicopters. I hear, "This is Lima November over." I command, "Lima November, there are hostile aircraft over the rescue site which appear to be attacking the survivors. You are weapons free to engage and destroy all aircraft in the area." The pilot replies, "Acknowledge order to go weapons free. We'll be in range in 5 mics. I smile knowing that problem will soon be taken care of. Now on to the other issue. I ask, "What resources do we have available to provide support for the Robinson Airport?" My team replies, "Sir, this wasn't anticipated and there are no resources in the air. We could have a pair of jets in the air in 10 minutes. I look at the screen and realize in 10 minutes it will all be over, but I give the order anyway. Get those jets in the air. Present, Yentz, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I can't believe what Mike tells us next. I don't know if I'm pissed and happy or happy and pissed, or if I can even be both at the same time. This information certainly changes things. After Mike drops the huge bombshell on us about my bin, I'm frickin' speechless. I try several times to say something, then finally blurt it out, "Jack, damn it, did you know anything about this?" Jack answers, "Yentz, this is the first time I've heard about this." I question, "Do you think Mike is feeding us a line of bullshit? I mean, when did this happen?" Jack says, "Yentz, I know Mike and I don't see any motivation for him to lie about this. And there were times that I wasn't with Ben when this could have happened." Masha interrupts, "Excuse me, may I voice my opinion on this subject?" I wonder what the heck she could have to say, but I'm curious so I answer, "This discussion is open for everyone." Masha smiles and replies, "Even though Jack is my husband, we often disagree. However, concerning what Mike told you about Ben, I agree with my husband. What Mike said is probably true, and if you think rationally about it, it explains many things." Maria says, "Yentz, if this is true, then it changes everything." I just get ready to answer when Jack interrupts, "Yentz, I'm not sure what the hell I see coming toward this airport, but I sure as hell don't like the looks of it. Let's get the hell out of here and find someplace better to hide." Present, Byron, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. By covering his 6, I'm helping Tom find out who the hell is messing with Liz Morgan. I look up and see trouble headed toward the airport. I shake Tom's shoulder and strongly suggest, "Tom, we need to get the hell back to the C-130 because something wicked this way comes." Present, Tom, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. Byron interrupts me and tells me trouble is coming. I look up to see what he's talking about, drop my phone and agree, "Byron, let's get the hell out of Dodge." We then take off as fast as we can towards the C-130. Present, Jack, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I see a group of choppers coming in, too low and too fast for my liking. My training screams that we're sitting ducks in this grounded chopper and I order, "Yentz, I'm not sure what the hell I see coming into this airport, but I sure as hell don't like the looks of it. Let's get the hell out of here and find someplace better to hide." Everyone looks where I'm pointing as we boil out of the chopper like mad hornets out of a nest and I command, "Quick, follow me." We run toward the far side of the building away from the approaching choppers. I make sure I hold tightly to Masha's hand. She must be scared shitless because she's not used to this sort of action like I am. Present, Masha, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. Jack is squeezing my hand with such great force it hurts. I know he has great concern for me, and it is touching that he loves me so intensely. I am very thankful I made arrangements for our son, Ivan, to have a babysitter at the hotel because I would be very nervous if he was here with us. My greatest problem is determining which of my actions will be most appropriate during this crisis. My instinct is to withdraw the pistol I have concealed in my purse and prepare to engage the helicopters. But I am hesitant because I do not want to deal with the many questions that act would elicit. I have already revealed too much of my former life, and I cannot afford to reveal everything. If more becomes known, I might lose Jack. Present, Yentz, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. Damn it, we're caught flat-footed. Not a one of us has a weapon, and we have multiple loaches headed toward us in obvious attack formation. I'm not sure, but it looks like they carry ground assault teams. I can only hope Linus had the time to deploy everyone to protect the airport. I look at Maria and complain. This is a hell of a time not to have any weapons. She shakes her head. Yentz, who would have believed that we would be attacked at a civilian airport? Who the hell do you think it is? Jack interrupts. I would say it's the same people that have been hindering the search and rescue of Liz. Masha surprisingly adds, Jennifer, there are many intrigues in the political world for which the Truth Network broadcasts have caused much caustic consternation. The parties involved feel that you, your fiancé Ben, and Elizabeth Morgan are to blame for their misfortune and have chosen this most inopportune time to attempt to exact revenge. They wrongly believe if they eliminate you three then it will precipitate the demise of the Truth Network. I look at Maria and she shakes her head. Present, Maria, private airport, Washington, D.C. Just who the hell, and what the hell did Masha Reynolds do before she married Jack? First, she kicks not only Megan's butt, she kicks my butt at the same time. The truth still hurts even though she was somewhat lucky because I was distracted at the time. Since that time, she's been providing us with excellent intel. Soccer mom my butt. She fights better and knows more than any soccer mom I've ever heard of. Something about her reminds me of, yeah, the Twisted Sisters. Now, I have someone else to add to my growing watch list. Thanks to the crusty old fart being alert, we make it around the side of the building before the real fun begins. I worry about Linus because he's at the C-130, and that has to be a huge target of opportunity for whoever is attacking us. I'm distracted as Masha pulls Jack to the side. They have an animated conversation, and she hands him something out of her purse. I watch as Jack checks the pistol she handed him. Okay, now I know she's no soccer mom. I mentioned to my princess boss, well, it looks like we're not totally without weapons. She's been watching the choppers and says, what do you mean? I answer, Masha had a pistol in her purse and she just gave it to Jack. My princess boss replies, well, that's better than nothing, but as been always said, a pistol is only good to fight your way back to where you left your rifle, and unfortunately we have no rifles. Look, here they come. Present, Tom, private airport, Washington, D.C. With my messed up leg, I can't move fast enough to make it to the C-130 before the choppers arrive. I tell Byron, look, I'm slowing you up. Leave my butt and get to the C-130. He answers, Tom, forget it. I'm not leaving you behind. Look, there's some trucks over there. Let's head for them. As we head toward the trucks, it suddenly gives me an idea and I remark, Byron, if you weren't so old and ugly, I'd kiss you. He answers, no thanks, Tom. You're not my type. As we reach the trucks, I explain my idea to Byron and he says, Tom, you're still one devious old scumsucker. Now to see if I can do what I do so well, cause a distraction. Byron helps me with the truck as we first locate the keys behind the visor. We start it up, back it out of the parking spot, and aim it toward the choppers and troops at the far end of the field. Then, we find a large rock to hold down the accelerator. The engine roars as I shift the automatic transmission into gear, and the truck surges forward like an unstoppable force, charging straight at the attackers threatening us. I look at Byron as he dryly comments, well, this should stir things up. He's right again as we see one of the choppers jump back into the air. Present, Linus, private airport, Washington, D.C. Because this is America, even though I'm damn sure we're under attack, I don't dare give the order to fire until they fire first. The choppers are, well, they're being cagey. They stop at the far end of the airport where they approached, and then set down. Shit, they're deploying troops. I hear Jim in my comm, Sierra FOP permission to fire. I reply, all Sierra, this is America and we're not sure who these guys are. For all we know, they might be the government, and we don't want to start a war with America. Hold your fire until we're fired upon. Everyone starts to complain. I'm pissed at the comm chatter, so I add, this is an order. Keep this comm channel clear of chatter. Present, Jim, from TSIFFDS, private airport, Washington, D.C. Damn, Linus is both right and wrong. Yeah, these scumsuckers could be the government, but if it is the feds, they are deploying troops in such a way that they pose a very imminent threat. But we have our orders, and we all hold our fire. Personally, I'm itching for a chance to redeem myself after the whole mess on this last mission. Not everything was my fault, but I did mess up some. And now is the perfect damn chance for me to seriously kick some, but to show the team my real value is more than just driving boats and running computer and comm systems. I cut my teeth on anti-aircraft guns, and this one is one of the best. Now if I could just fire it. I obey the orders even though I don't like it. I watch the choppers deploy their troops and get ready to take off when something surprising happens. A truck starts speeding towards them at breakneck speed. I continue to watch to see how they react. Present, Linus, private airport, Washington, D.C. I watch as a truck, apparently an out-of-control truck, heads towards the attack force and smile. This has to be the work of Tom. It has his fingerprints all over it. However, I'm not sure it's the best plan since whoever is storming the airfield, even if it's the government, will take this action as a hostile threat. And I'm right as one of the choppers jumps back into the air. Two men that stayed on the side racks open fire on the truck, so I order. All Sierra teams can release weapons. Sierra 1 and 2, make sure of your targets with those stingers. I call the pilot and order, Sierra Primary, prepare to exfil. Now we're at war with someone, but who the hell is this strange someone that was foolish enough to attack this C-130? Because we're sure as hell not sitting ducks. Present, Jim, from TSIFFDS, private airport, Washington, D.C. Finally I can fire. Linus put me in charge of a really nice anti-aircraft gun. Oh, we have the robotic Gatling gun here, but it can't fire at ground targets. But I can do the anti-aircraft thing plus a few more tricks I learned in my spare time. Time for me to kick butt and take names. Present, Yints, Private Airport, Washington, D.C. I'm watching what looks to be a major battle developing from around the side of the building. A truck heads towards the invading choppers and troops. A chopper jumps up into the air and fires at the truck. Then I hear the beautiful sound of Gatling guns, which sound like cloth being torn, as our team opens fire on the choppers. I jump as 2 stingers head toward the choppers and smile as 3 choppers blossom into fireballs and fall into the troops they just deployed. Nothing causes mass troop confusion more than a flaming chopper falling on your butt. I yell woohoo. Linus and the team just took out 3 of the choppers. Jack grabs my shoulder and says, Yints, it looks like the C-130 is... He's interrupted when 2 more stingers are launched at the choppers. I watch as one misses and hits a building, but the other one finds its target and a 4th chopper goes down. The remaining choppers have had enough and start to bug out, deserting the troops they deployed. I laugh knowing how much that must suck, being left for cannon fodder. Jack continues, the C-130 is starting to warm up and we need to be on it. I order, Jack, you're right, let's move our butts to the C-130. The gating guns continues to tear holes into the sky. Then it's joined with small arms fire, some of it directed at us. We race towards the plane and I yell over the noise and confusion. I sure hope to hell we don't get shot. Present, Mike, Captain M. Undisclosed location, Washington, D.C. Damn it. This is one of those times I wish I had 4 eyes which could independently focus. I ask my team even though I know, what the hell is going on at Robinson Airfield? My second replies, sir, it looks like the choppers opened fire on a truck and now there's a huge battle. I add, it looks like whoever is attacking the airfield is having their butts handed to them. My team confirms, yes sir. 4 of the choppers are down, 3 from manpads, and it appears the others are leaving, but not without being damaged too. They have left many ground troops who appear to still be fighting. I watch the flashes of a Gatling gun close to the C-130 and remark, ground troops against the firepower we're seeing won't last long. I want more information on the owner of that C-130. Also notify our inbound pilots they are to hold position at a safe distance from the airfield. I don't want them to be perceived as threats. My second remarks, sir. It looks like one of the choppers attacking Elizabeth Morgan's team is down, and it's not from our resources. I look at the other screen and say, give me a replay of what happened on my local screen. I watch and I have no idea what happened, but something shot down one of the choppers just as it was getting ready to. Present Liz on the life raft. I suddenly realize these aren't rescue choppers. Instead they are. Shit, there's just enough time to yell. Quick, everyone get out of the rafts. Alexi yells at the girls, and we all tumble back into the freezing water just in time. Automatic weapons fire from the chopper tears the hell out of the rafts. We surface beside the destroyed rafts and I realize not only are we sitting ducks, we're also royally screwed. Even if the choppers don't shoot us, without the life rafts our chances of survival become diminishingly low. I hear a bunch of screaming and wonder who the hell's been shot. I'm beside Bernie and Alexi, so it must be... Shit. It must be one of the girls. I yell, Bernie, watch Alexi. I'm going to check on the girls. Alexi responds, Ms. Morgan, I am fine and will accompany you. I get ready to argue with him when I hear a noise and yell, oh shit. Here they come again. Only this time it's different. The chopper doesn't make a pass at us. It slowly approaches, hovers right over us, and slowly descends. One of the girls is still screaming bloody murder, which this is going to end up being very soon. I yell, these scumsuckers don't want the rest of you. They just want me. I push away from Alexi, swim like hell for a short time and stop. The chopper has followed me. I scream, you scumsuckers want me. Well, come and get me. I pull up the flare gun, fire it at the chopper, and then something surprising and unexpected happens. Gunfire erupts, not from the chopper, but from somewhere close. I watch as the canopy of the chopper is riddled with bullet holes. The pilot slumps, and the chopper loses control. Shit, it's going to crash right on top of me. I swim like hell, and it barely misses me. I rise back to the surface and cry when I hear a familiar voice ask, Ms. Morgan, are you damaged? I forget about the attack and the other choppers and yell, Mira, my Mira, are you still alive? Where are you? Present, Mira, in the water. I giggle at Ms. Morgan's silly questions, swim over beside her and respond, yes, Ms. Morgan, unlike my unlucky sister. I do not get to finish my sentence because Ms. Morgan hugs me very vociferously and begins crying on my shoulder. She exclaims, Mira, I thought when the airplane sank you died. How did you survive? I additionally respond, I was able to extricate myself, the injured pilot and deceased co-pilot from the airplane shortly after it submerged. Unfortunately, the pilot did not know the proper procedure for expelling air from his lungs. When surfacing, you must ascend at the same rate as the bubbles out of your lungs. He failed to follow this procedure, and he is suffering from a mild case of nitrogen narcosis. I must find and attend to him. Please accompany me. Ms. Morgan follows me and says, Mira, I think one of the girls has been shot. She's been screaming the whole time. I giggle some more and elucidate. Ms. Morgan, your assumptions are fallacious. That is Yasmin. She is terrified of the water and is screaming that she is drowning, although she is not grievously endangered. Then I hear the call of a calm voice and my heart quickens. My sister Mira, I knew you did not expire. I answer, Alexei, my brother, please continue your vocalization so we might triangulate your location. He answers, Mira, we are all here and I have also retrieved the pilot and the expired body of the co-pilot. I question, Alexei, are you co-located with Zarika and Yasmin? He responds, yes, my sister, and we cannot get Yasmin to stop her infernal screaming. I order, Zarika and Alexei, use whatever force you deem necessary to subdue Yasmin. The continuous cacophony of caterwauling finally terminates. I smile with the knowledge that one of them must have rendered her unconscious. Zarika says, nice lady, I have done as you requested, but Yasmin will be angry with me. As another helicopter becomes annoyingly close, I quickly employ my Tokarev TT-33 pistol. Tokarev is a Russian semi-automatic pistol, and apologize. Excuse me a moment. I must swat at this annoying mosquito. Nagant M1895, I am footnoting this revolver because of its unique design. It is a 7-shot, gas seal revolver designed and produced by Belgian industrialist Lion Nagant for the Russian Empire. The Nagant M1895 was chambered for a proprietary cartridge, 7.62x38R, and featured an unusual gas seal system in which the cylinder moved forward when the gun was cocked to close the gap between the cylinder and the barrel, providing a boost to the muzzle velocity of the fired projectile. The first helicopter required 2 magazines to destroy, but I only have 2 magazines left with an excessive number of helicopters left to eliminate. I accommodate considerable concern for the safety of Alexei and Ms. Morgan. I commence firing, then a most curious thing, even for me, eventuates. Present, Jens, C-130 somewhere in flight. Thanks to my intuition, Linus's excellent resource deployment and Jack's attention, we escaped the airfield, but not without some problems. James, now that there are 2 gyms around, I will use James for the one from Sifs, is moving between Hammer and Todd, making sure they're okay. Byron is taking care of Tom. I guess Tom messed his leg up getting back to the C-130, and somehow Byron carried him, even while nursing his broken arm. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing as Tom was swearing up a storm the whole time. Those two remind me of the Odd Couple, but I haven't figured out which one is odder than the other. I watch as Maria is hovering around Linus as the docs work on him. It's just a flesh wound from an unlucky for Linus shot, but you'd think he was dying by the way Maria is acting. Jim is taking care of a very sick Megs. I'm sure as hell glad it's him and not me, since I don't need another worry right now, who has alcohol poisoning. Jack took off from the C-130 to go and get his son Ivan. We will rendezvous later. I'm sitting with Masha. She caught a round in the upper shoulder which missed all the major blood vessels but broke her collarbone. That's going to hurt like hell. She's been sedated and is out of it. And sadness, extreme sadness overwhelms me. Everyone has someone except for me. Oh, I've got Ben, if he doesn't marry that little Stacy Summers bitch. But with what Mike told us, I'm not sure anymore that Ben won't marry her. I feel a few tears slip down my cheeks. Matt comes up beside me and offers, Jens, I've never seen you this sad and depressed. Look on the bright side. We all escaped with our lives. I wipe the tears from my eyes, the snot from my nose, and explain, Matt, it's a good thing we all escaped. But look, everyone has someone here except me. He reminds me, Jens, don't forget you still have Ben. I shake my head and begin to explain to him what Mike told us and why I might not have been present. Linus, C-130 somewhere in flight. Damn, I'm sure glad I'm not one of the doctors taking care of me. Maria has chewed their butts until they don't have any left. Shit, if Maria wasn't here, I'd just slap a band-aid on it and get back to work. I finally get Maria to mellow out and say, thanks Maria for taking care of me. But I still have work to do. She gives me a dirty look but pleads, Linus, you need to rest and heal. I answer, Maria, if we don't find someplace safe and defensible, we'll all be resting 6 feet under. Now let me go talk to Jens. She helps me up, even though I didn't need help, and walks with me over to where Jens is talking to Matt and watching Masha. I state, Jens, sorry to interrupt, But since we were attacked at an airport on the outskirts of DC, we need to find someplace safe that we can adequately defend. I watch her think for a moment as she decides. Linus, I know the perfect place. Present, Matt. C-130 somewhere in flight. Shit. If what Jens told me is true, and from what I know about Mike it probably is, now I understand why Ben took off on Jens. But I also, perhaps more than anyone else, understand just how careful we will need to be when and if we confront him. Present, Stacy, the barn. I continue to SLLS and also watch Ben open the door. I'm impressed and feel much better when he stands to the side of the door and uses a rope to open it. When I feel it's safe, I start heading back towards Ben with the horses, but suddenly Ben yells, Stacy, stay where you are with the horses. I stop, start to ask him why, when, holy frack. It's like all the IEDs start going off at once and something. I can't begin to understand what happens at the bunker. I hit the ground and the horses take off like their tails are on fire. I throw my hands over the top of my head as stuff is falling on top of me. I've never been particularly religious, but this seems like the end of the world for us and seems like a really good time to ask God for a favor or two. First one for Ben and then one for me. Then something really bad happens. Present, Ben, the bunker. I knew it was too good to be true. The sapper had the door wired. I blurt out to Stacy to stay where she is, then barely have time to hit the ground myself. I watch as the horses bolt, and as Stacy hits the deck, she tries to dig herself into the ground. On the ground, she's really not in any danger, and it's funny as hell watching her squirm, so I start to laugh. The explosions are over as quickly as they started, but my laughter continues. I forgot just how much fun it is. Okay, maybe I never knew how much fun it could be, training a green recruit. I stand up and yell, Ollie oxen free. Stacy, I think it's all over. Please be very careful. Stacy stands up and I realize my choice of the word green is apropos for more than one reason as she leans over and pukes. The released tension gives me a reason to find it amusing and I begin to laugh again. Present, Stacy, the bunker. I am mortified. When all the IEDs exploded, 3 really bad. No, 3 devastating things happened to me. First, I couldn't control my fear and I completely froze. I'm so embarrassed. But even worse, some of the debris that fell on me included pieces of putrefied banditos. Then, to top it all off, the overwhelming stench made me sick, and I threw up. Now, I reek of smoke, decay, and vomit. But the worst part of all? Ben is laughing at me. I try to fight it, but I can't control myself. Present, Ben, the bunker. Shit. Untold years of martial arts training, combat experience on every continent, expert rating on virtually every weapon that fires a bullet, and I still haven't found any defense against a woman's tears. Stacy falls to her knees and starts crying like crazy. How in the hell did this become my fault? I run down the path. I'm still not certain all the IEDs are gone. Reach Stacy, sit on the ground beside her, and hug her. Now I understand what she's upset about. She peed her pants and has a few little pieces of the rotten bandito on her. I say, Stacy, things are fine. Don't worry. She pushes me away and continues to sob. You laughed at me. Oh shit. I forgot my first rule about women. When things concern them or their looks, they have no sense of humor. This one isn't going to be easy to fix. Present, Stacy, the bunker. Ben hugs me and it feels really good, but I'm such a mess I can't stand for him to see me this way. Plus, he laughed at me. I'm in no mood to have him close to me. I just want to run away and hide in my embarrassment. I push him away and say, You laughed at me. Then I jump up and try to run, but Ben quickly catches me, wraps his arms around me and says, Stacy, I'm very sorry for laughing. I interrupt Ben. I hate being laughed at. He interrupts, Stacy, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the circumstances, and it was wrong of me. Please forgive me. All this mess could end up being a blessing in disguise. I relax in his arms, but my voice still quivers when I say, Ben, I don't understand what part of any of this is funny. When the IEDs went off, I wasn't worried about me getting hurt. I was worried about you. Then, Ben silences my babbling with a kiss. Now it surely wasn't the best kiss I've ever had. Shoot, there wasn't even any tongue. But still it is a kiss. And even after I had vomited. Present, Ben, the bunker. Shit. Can I screw up any more or any worse today? I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I kissed Stacy to shut her up. Thank God I realized what I was doing before I slipped her the tongue, but she sure tried to slip me the tongue. I pull away from her and can tell from the look in her eyes I seriously screwed up. I apologize, Stacy. Sorry about that. I don't know what came over me. She smiles at me, takes my hand and interrupts. Ben, that was really nice of you. Please don't ruin it by saying anything else that's stupid. I really need to find a place to clean up, and I would prefer if it wasn't in that nasty house. What I need right now is a big distraction for her. I pull my hand out of hers and say, well, we have a bunker to explore, and with the way the sapper defended it, there must be some really valuable things inside. Stacy responds, that still doesn't help me clean up. That's the problem with women. They have a one-track mind. And when it gets derailed by a little thing like cleaning up, that's all they can think about. She takes my hand again as we head toward the bunker. Present, Stacy, the bunker. Ben might not understand what just happened, but I certainly do. I know what a simple, heartfelt moment like that means. My heart feels lighter, almost joyful. Now, I just have to help him see it too. I take his hand as we walk toward the bunker that nearly took our lives. Before, I would have been overwhelmed with fear, but this time, I feel steadier. Maybe because of everything we've already been through or the trust we've built. Still, I know I need to clean up. He pulls his hand free and says, Stacy, we still need to be very careful entering the bunker. There could be more IEDs, and I need both my hands. I grin and reply, yes, Ben, I understand, and I'm sure you want me to have your back. He gives me a slight glare, seeming to catch on to the phrase at last, and responds, yes, you'll cover my position from beside the bunker, the exact same spot where I stood when I opened the door. I smile at him and ask, so how does this help me get cleaned up? Ben responds, Stacy, sometimes in war you have to just put up with some inconveniences and annoyances. Listen, what happened to you after I opened the door is no big deal to me. What's important now is that we put everything behind us and focus on the mission at hand, which is the safe infill of this bunker. Now, I haven't mentioned it before, but with this crazy sapper setting IEDs everywhere, this might be the most dangerous thing we've ever done. Shoot, my relaxed mood just flew out the window like an escaping canary and took all the music in my heart with it. Now I'm not only uncomfortable about my condition, I'm worried again about Ben and this fracking bunker. I complain, Ben, let's just forget about this bunker. He answers, no way, Stacy. If the sapper took such pains to protect the bunker, he had a good reason for it. Now, take up your position where I told you. Cover my 6, and I'm taking up position on the other side of the door. Once I'm sure there's no IEDs, then I will enter and secure the bunker. I do as ordered, but request, Ben. I would feel much better if it doesn't bother you. If you told me what you were doing. He smiles at me. Sure, I can do that. We take up our positions beside the door. I begin to SLLS. Ben pies the bunker with his periscope and I ask, what do you see? Ben swears, damn it. I don't see jack. I knew something was screwed up with this door. I continue to SLLS, become even more nervous and request, what the hell are you talking about? He responds, damn, this guy was cagey. He had a door within a door and I opened the wrong one. That's what set off all the IEDs. I question, I don't have any idea what you just said. He ignores me, backs up, and begins seriously looking at the wall beside the door. He doesn't find anything, then he moves back to the door and asks, Stacy, push the outer door towards me, I want to examine it. I step to the side, making sure not to step on any dirt. I'm still not sure all the IEDs are gone, and swing the door toward Ben. He catches it and begins to examine it. I want to ask him what he's looking for, but don't want to become a nag, especially since we finally have a relationship. It seems like it takes forever, but he looks at me, smiles, and says, well, here goes nothing. I sure as hell hope I'm right and don't blow my hand completely off. I start to complain, but it's too late. Present, Ben, the bunker. Yeah, this guy knew how to build IEDs and booby trap a house. The door I opened was an outer door. Behind it is a steel box about a foot deep, which was filled with homemade Claymore-type mines. Now I understand why I couldn't see into the bunker. But how the hell could the guy open the real door? I search the wall for another keyhole, don't find anything, so I ask myself what I would do. I come up with a pretty good idea, especially after looking at the fake outer door. But it requires me to use my hand to search inside the steel box. Unfortunately, this could be deadly for my hand. The one thing you learn when you make IEDs is you don't want to make them too difficult to trigger or to disarm. If you make them too difficult to trigger, then you run the risk of them not detonating when you want them to. And if you make them too difficult to disarm, then you run the same risk, only this time they detonate on you when you try to disarm them. The 2x4 IED landmines smacked of this premise. They were utterly simplistic in design. I was certain the sapper followed the same simplicity here. I begin to search the doorway, and just like I thought, I turned the lock the normal way to open a door, which in this case was the wrong way because it opened the outer door. My fingers feel where the lock, when turned the right way for it, presses a lever. I take a deep breath, hope I'm right in order. Stacy, press your back against the wall. She starts to complain, but I ignore her. Press the lever, and the inner door starts to swing open. I yank my hand out of the way as the inner door swings open and, for once, nothing happens. Present, Stacy, the bunker. Okay, I need to do more than pee this time. Ben's concern over this bunker door has almost scared the poop out of me. What the heck is it about men? Frequently, they just can't leave well enough alone. Ben's now concentrating and stops explaining things to me. Then he opens some sort of new door that I guess was behind the other door. I expect everything to blow up again, but this time, thank goodness, nothing happens. Other than some light comes out of the bunker. He finally explains, well, that might have been the right way to open the bunker. But I'm still not sure it's safe, Stacy, so stay there and cover my 6. I watch as he sticks his periscope around the door and begins to pie the room. He whistles, which scares me, but then he adds, I think we hit the jackpot, but I need to be sure. He takes a rock, throws it into the room, and again nothing happens. He gives me a grave look and says, well, here goes nothing. Then he walks into the bunker. Present, Ben, the bunker. Yeah, I take a big risk, but I've been working on getting into the mind of this sapper, and I think I've got a good beat on it. So as I walk into the bunker, nothing happens, other than my mouth falling open. We have indeed hit the jackpot. This place is set up not like a bunker. It's more like a combination of a fallout shelter and panic room. But one question still smacks me in the face. Why didn't the sapper and his family retreat to the bunker? I'm still not 100% sure there won't be more surprises in this bunker, but for right now, I feel it's safe for us to be in here. We just have to be careful about everything we open and everything we do. I see something, smile and yell, Stacy, what's the one thing that's been on your mind for the last 30 mics? She yells inside, well, I need the toilet, and also to get cleaned up. I walk over, check it out by opening the door, and it doesn't blow up on me, so I respond, well, there's a nice as hell bathroom in here which the banditos haven't touched. To her credit, she doesn't fly into the bunker. Instead, she asks, Present, Stacy, the bunker. Ben has found a real bathroom in this bunker. Now that's worth something to me. My first instinct is to run in and use it, but I fight that and ask, Ben, is it safe for me to come in and use it? He answers, sure, come on in. I run in, see him smile at me and point to a door. I carefully open the door, and yes, it's really a bathroom. I start taking care of my needs and ask, Ben, would you please find my pack and bring it to me? I sure don't appreciate his answer, Stacy. I will, but not until you are finished with your essential business. Remember, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. You need to cover my 6 while I go and recover the packs. Just remember there are 2 reasons for the famous saying, don't get caught with your pants down. 2 reasons. Well, the first is obvious because I have a mess to clean up right now, but what in the world is the second reason? I wonder as I finish up. Then, I blush, realizing the second reason, and almost begin to chuckle. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. I take a little extra time trying to clean off the mess, but with no luck. There's nothing I can do about my damp clothes for now. However, I sure eye the shower, knowing I'll be using it soon. I walk out of the bathroom and see Ben examining some boxes on the wall near the doorway. I walk over, lean against him, place my hand on his strong shoulder, and ask, so, what did you find? He says, if I had opened the door correctly, it would have automatically shut off all the IEDs. But because I only opened the outer door, I think it triggered all the IEDs. I'm pretty sure we're safe now. I gripe, just how sure is pretty sure, because I think I've had enough excitement for today. He laughs, at least not at me this time, and replies, about 95% sure we won't trigger any more of the IEDs if any of them are left. This doesn't mean there aren't other IEDs around just waiting for us. Now I'm going to go get the packs. I want you to stand watch at the doorway and cover my 6. If all hell breaks loose, close the door because you will be safe in here, and you press this lever to open the door from the inside. I grin at him and say, okay, I've got your butt. But there's no way in hell I would ever close this door and leave you outside, not even if Santa Anna and his whole army was still alive and attacked us. If you go down, I go down fighting right beside you. He glares at me and argues, Stacy, that's cover my 6. Oh yeah, he knows what I'm doing with my smart comments. Hey, this girl just wants to have some fun, even in the midst of this war. Ben heads out the doorway as I remember Ben telling me doorways are funnels of death. So, I don't stand in the doorway, but I move outside, put my back against the door, SLLS, and watch Ben's fine butt. He gets to a point where he's going to disappear around the front of the house, and I wonder if I should move to continue to cover his 6. He stops in a safe-looking place by a tree and motions for me to come up beside him, and that answers my question. We are doing bounding overwatch? I carefully slip up beside him as he smiles and comments, your situational awareness was excellent when you came here. I touch his shoulder and say, thanks. I wasn't sure we were doing bounding Overwatch and was concerned about not being able to watch your butt. He glares again but mostly ignores my comment and responds, if there's even the slightest chance of danger, we will always move using bounding Overwatch. Now stay here, and I will recover the packs. I grin and reply, you got it. I've got your back. He glares at me again before carefully moving to where we left our full packs. He puts his pack on his back and carries mine in front as he heads back toward me. I can't wait to change into dry clothes, but even more, I'm looking forward to a proper shower. Ben reaches my position and corrects me. Stacy, you're a little distracted. Get your mind back in the game. Yeah, Ben doesn't miss anything. Since his kiss, my mind has been preoccupied with the normal what, when, and how questions. What did the kiss really mean? Does it mean the same thing to Ben as it does to me? When will he kiss me and do other things to me again? And how should I act toward him? I reply, sorry, honey. I guess I'm a little excited and I will try my best to get my mind back in the game. He gripes, Stacy, don't try, just do it. I decide he's right, so I say, okay, I've got lead on this leg of bounding Overwatch. You have my butt. I don't verbally add, anytime you want it, honey, but I sure do think it. Present Ben, the bunker. Shit, I really screwed up. Things were really good between Stacy and me. We made a good team. But the one little accidental kiss, just to shut her up, has her flirting with me like Ms. Donaldson used to flirt with me. I watch her as she heads back toward the bunker. She's doing a hell of a job, and she does have a fine. Damn it, now she has me distracted again. If Stacy keeps this shit up, I'm going to dump her fine. I mean dump her, but like I did with Ms. Donaldson. She gets to the bunker, gets settled in and motions for me. I push all the bullshit out of my thoughts and make sure she has her mind in the game before I move toward the bunker. I make it to the bunker, drop both packs on the concrete and command, Stacy, for right now, I want you to stay right here because we know it's a safe place. I still don't trust this sapper, so I'm going inside. I will close the door and then open it again. I want to be sure closing and opening the door doesn't come with any more surprises. She complains, telling Ben not to disobey a direct order. But what happened to two is one and one is none. If I'm out here, I can't watch your back and you can't watch mine. Ugh. I hate it when my own words come back to haunt me. At least she said watch your back instead of something worse this time. So, I take the easy way out and lie, good job, Stacy. That was just a test. We both head into the bunker and I close the door. Present, Stacy, the bunker. Ben is such a terrible liar. I have to bite my lip to keep from laughing. That was a test, yeah, right? I wisely decide not to call him out on it. If I do, he might actually try to get better at lying. Grandmama always said never to let a man know you can tell when he's lying. But we always know. I do worry some when he closes the door since I half expect this bunker to become our coffin. Ben commands, okay, Stacy, move to the back corner before I open the door again. I do as ordered. He opens the door and I'm relieved when the bunker doesn't become our coffin. However, I become real excited about what I've found. I ask nicely, Ben, please come here and see what I've found. He closes the door and walks back to me as I point to the horse's tack and say, you were right. Here's everything we need for the horses. Ben laughs, yeah. Now we've got everything we need for the horses, except for the horses. Or did you forget they ran off? I boldly counter, oh yeah. I'll bet you they come back. Ben wisely says, Stacy, I'm not going to take that bet until I know what we're betting. Shoot, there goes my chance of easily getting another kiss. I respond with a bit of mock anger, be that way. I'm going to go shower and change my fracking clothes. I storm into the bathroom with my pack and practically ruin everything by giggling. I take off my clothes, look at them and sigh. Another pair of ruined clothes. If I keep this up, I will have to start wearing animal skin bikinis like in that crazy old movie with the hot girls and dinosaurs. Author note. 1,000,000 years BC. I turn on the shower, get the water just right, climb in and luxuriate letting the water caress my body. If only Ben was here to wash my back, it would be perfect. Present Ben, the bunker. Shit. Stacy is a piss-poor liar. She acted like she was pissed at me, but I could see the corners of her mouth creep upwards in a telltale smile. What she doesn't realize is she's given me an excuse to now act pissed off at her, which should keep her distracted from the accidental kiss I gave her earlier. Enough of this wool-gathering, it's time to explore the rest of the bunker. No, it's not a bunker. It's really a hell of a nice man cave. But I must keep in mind how truly devious the sapper was. Which reminds me of the really big question. Why the hell didn't he and his family retreat into this bunker? If he had done that, they'd still be alive. It bothers me and makes me wonder whether this bunker is as secure as it seems. On either side of the same wall as the doorway, There are big metal cabinets which have attracted my attention. I walk over to one, carefully check it for possible IEDs. Don't find any, then turn the handle to open it and grin. This is a hell of a nice gun cabinet. Just from glancing at the weapons, I can already see I will be changing what I'm carrying. But I want to get more exploration done without Stacy here to bother me. I carefully check and then open the cabinet on the other side of the door and discover it's full of ammo. This isn't quite the ideal way to have these cabinets set up. If it was me, I would have had the weapons and the ammo for each one in the same cabinet. In an emergency, you could grab a weapon and the ammo for it at the same time. The wall on the left side of the doorway as you walk in has what looks to be a computer on a big table. I turn it on. It boots up just like any other computer, then automatically runs a surveillance camera program with 12 split screens. This is sweet because we can now see what's going on outside the bunker, in the house and the surrounding area without opening the door. I don't remember seeing any cameras, so I remind myself to look for them when I'm outside again. There's another big cabinet adjacent to the surveillance table, so I open it and find a rack of VHS tape decks that must be hooked to the surveillance camera system. There's a shitload of tapes stacked by date, but they don't interest me right now. I cross the room to the other wall, which is lined with big cabinets. Once again, not trusting the sapper, I open each one carefully. The first is filled with duffel bags. Each bag has a name on it. There's John, Elena, Michelle, and Maxwell. They are evidentially go bags for each family member and will require scrutiny later. Someone was a labeling fool. The next cabinet has what looks to be horse packs labeled survival rations. I peek inside one and grin because they're not MREs. Instead, there's some sort of high-end looking freeze-dried food. It makes me wonder if this family was LDS, because I've heard there were a bunch of LDS that moved to Texas from Utah. The last cabinet on that wall is packed full of BDUs, underwear and socks, again labeled by name. This gives me an idea, so I look at the sizes and smile. Present, Stacy, the bunker. I shower until my skin looks all wrinkly like grandmama's, step out of the shower, dry off, and what the frack? Those aren't the clothes I set out earlier. Ben replaced my clothes with real military-looking clothes. Shoot, even the underwear, which are too much like granny panties for my liking, are camouflage. How in the frack did he get in here without me hearing him? I check the sizes and they're almost perfect for me. The bra is going to be small, but I'd rather wear a jog bra anyway, so I pull a clean one out of my pack. I look around for my dirty clothes, even checking for the dirty clothes in my pack, but they're all missing. Ben is certainly sneaky. Too bad I didn't hear him, because I would have invited him in to scrub my back. I stand in front on the mirror and admire my body. It's firmer and tighter than ever. I guess that's one of the benefits of being in war. It has turned my 19-year-old body back into a 15-year-old body, except all my baby fat is gone. I brush the heck out of my hair and notice the roots are finally going back to my normal blonde color. I really hate having black hair, and now that we're away from the cities, perhaps I can let it go natural. I check my nails and note they are a wreck. Oh well, I guess manicures and pedicures are casualties of being in a war. I even take the time to apply just a little bit of subtle makeup. Now that I have a boyfriend, I do need to look my best. I put on the new clothes, adjust them so they're perfect, double-check but to make sure it looks good in these pants, and step out of the bathroom. I don't see Ben, so I call. Ben, where are you? He answers from a good distance away. I'll be right there. I wait for what seems like forever and notice the computer, which I guess is a surveillance system. I wander over by it, and Ben finally comes out of somewhere way in the back of the bunker. He's grinning from ear to ear, so I ask, "What has you so happy?" He practically gushes as he says, "This place is probably the most perfect man cave I've ever seen. It has everything." He pauses, lets his eyes roam over my body, and continues, "Oh, by the way, I'm glad those BDUs fit you." I smile and reply, "Thank you for the compliment. Someone really sneaky stole the clothes I had put out for myself." He answers, "Yeah, I also grabbed all your dirty clothes and put them in the washing machine." I blush because one pair of my undies needed some extra care. Ben laughs and says, "You don't have to ask me. I took proper care of your underwear." Now how the heck did he know what I was thinking? I will have to ask him later. I say, "Well, now it's your turn to shower while I get to explore this so-called perfect man cave." He countermands me, "Stacy, there's nothing I'd like better than to take a shower." He sniffs and continues with a wrinkled face, "I really need one. However, I want to give John, Elena, Michelle, and Maxwell proper burials first. I sure as heck don't want to get all dirty again, so I answer with a frown." Ben notices and explains, "Don't worry, Stacy. You're standing watch while I do all the work." I ask, "So how are we going to get back in here?" Ben tosses me a set of keys and says, "Well, I found extra keys for the whole place, so we each have a set. Just remember to turn the front door lock clockwise to open the door." I question, "Front door? Does this mean there's a back door too?" He smiles and answers, "Yes, It leads into the stables. The horses are back and I've given them some feed. I get all excited and want to see the horses in these stables, but I know first we have the sad duty to bury the owners of this nice ranch. Yes, war is hell because sometimes nice people die. Present bin, the bunker. I'm not looking forward to burying this family. I've buried too many people already in my life, and this family certainly didn't deserve to die. It's still an unsolved mystery as to why they died in the first place. With resources like this man cave, they had to seriously screw up. Digging their grave is going to be a powerful reminder not to ever screw up like they did. I hand Stacy a new tactical vest and pistol rig. She looks at them and says, "What's all this?" I answer, "It's a tactical vest with a holster for your new pistol." She gets all excited and replies, "A new pistol? What do I have?" I reply, "You're going to be carrying a SIG Sauer P220 combat pistol, a double-action or single-action blowback pistol based on John Browning's 1911 design. These pistols are practically indestructible. They have been dropped in mud, shot in the slides, dropped over 30 feet onto concrete, and even endured explosions and still function. Many SOCOM and SWAT units now carry these, in .45 ACP. It's one of the best and most reliable pistols in the world." She starts trying to put on the tactical vest but can't figure it out. I almost laugh at her again, but bite my tongue to keep from insulting her. I walk over and offer, "Let me help you with that." She finally notices what I'm wearing and says, "Present, Stacy, the bunker." Ben comes over and helps me with this tactical gear because it's hard as heck to figure out where everything goes. I've been excited seeing him again because he's so happy and because he's given me so many new gifts. Yeah, I know they're from the family that died, and it bothers me some, but Ben thought of me first. I'm really excited when he gets close to me and helps me with the tactical vest. I'm even more excited when he touches my leg while helping me with the new holster. I finally notice Ben's new gear and say, "Ben, what's that you're wearing?" He's finished helping me with my vest, stands up and answers, "You finally noticed. I saw this, and while it isn't as effective as your new pistol, I couldn't resist because I've always loved revolvers." His hand is a blur as he draws the revolver with his right hand and continues, "This is an old model Ruger Vaquero revolver." I watch as he does something to the revolver, then he hands it to me and I remark, "Wow, that was really fast draw. You reminded me of a cowboy on some of the old westerns Grandmama and I used to watch, but isn't this really old school?" I hand the revolver back to him. Ben glares at me for some reason and says, "I'm also carrying a P220 just like you." I watch as he reaches down with his left hand and draws a pistol. I ask, "Is that what my pistol looks like?" He replies, "Yes, it is. Now let me go over its operation with you." Ben patiently spends the next 10 minutes showing me all the cool features of my new pistol and has me practice everything, even dry firing the pistol. When we're done, I kiss him on the cheek and say, "Thanks, Ben, this is a really cool new pistol. I really like the decocker, but what's this on the end of the barrel?" Ben grins and demonstrates, "Watch this." He unscrews a cap of the end of the barrel, reaches into a pocket on his tactical vest, pulls out a long tube and screws it onto the end of the barrel. I recognize what it is from watching TV and gush, "Oh wow, that's a silencer. Do I have one too?" He says, "First it's called a suppressor, not a silencer, and check the same pocket in your vest." I check my pocket and confirm I have one too. I'm really excited, but then Ben interrupts my excitement. "Present, Stacy." Second training lesson continued. More ready positions. Ben takes the suppressor off his pistol, puts it back into his tactical vest and says, "Okay, Stacy, before we exfil the bunker and I bury the family, let's practice the ready positions I've already taught you and teach you the ones you don't know yet. Retrieve your rifle, clear it, and your new pistol, and demonstrate the positions you already know." I look around the room and say, "Ben, I left my rifle by the doorway and it's gone now." He smiles and says, "Yes, I moved it into the cabinet to the right of the front door. You should have asked me where it was right away when you came into the room and didn't see it." I counter, "Well, shouldn't you have told me you moved it?" He replies, "Yes, I should have, but I was just testing your situational awareness. It's easy in a place that you perceive to be safe, like this bunker, to relax and let down your guard. Unfortunately, this can also become deadly. While we are in the man cave, we will either have our rifles with us or in the cabinet by the front or rear doors. So go retrieve your rifle and show me the ready positions." I walk over to the cabinet, open it, and see a bunch of rifles. I recognize my cool black rifle, pull it out, close the cabinet, walk back to Ben and clear it in my new pistol. I say, "I remember how you used your rifle and pistol together clearing the house. But for right now, I'm going to demonstrate the one ready position you taught me for the pistol, and then the two you taught me for the rifle." I bring my pistol up pointed at the wall, and then lower it to a 45-degree angle and say, "This is the low ready position you taught me. I move the pistol back up on target, then lower it again and continue. This is how easy it is to acquire my target. Ben asks, what happened as you used this position earlier? I reply, my arms got really tired holding the pistol out in front of me. Ben praises, very good Stacy. That's the major problem with this ready position. The other problem with low ready is if you're in a really tight place, you can't raise your pistol. There are two ready positions which will alleviate the problems with low ready, and they are similar. Now watch me. He pulls his P220 pistol, clears the action, gets into the low ready position, then bends both his elbows so they are against his side and says, this I like to call close low ready position. Notice how the muzzle of the pistol is still pointing down at a 45-degree angle. But with my elbow against my side, my arms won't get tired. Here's how easy it is to acquire your target. He quickly moved the pistol up on target and back down multiple times, getting quicker with each one. Then says, now it's your turn. I practice, finish, and remark, I already like this ready position better. It's almost as fast to acquire my target, and my arms don't get tired. Ben praises, Stacy, you did really well and you're right. Now let me teach you the next ready position. It's called close ready. I watch as Ben draws his pistol, acquires the target, then keeping the muzzle level, he bends his elbows and places them against his side. He alternates between close ready and acquiring the target several times, speeding up each time, and then asks, okay, Stacy, practice this ready position and give me your thoughts on it. I practice and say, well, the muzzle of the pistol is level, so I would need to be very careful in which direction I had it pointed. Ben interrupts, very good. You remember to never point a gun at someone you aren't ready to shoot. I continue, and I think my wrists would eventually get tired in this ready position. So why would I use this over the close low ready position? Ben replies, excellent comment. You're exactly right. You would use this ready position because you're already sighting down the barrel of the pistol and you can acquire and fire offhand. That is firing the pistol without using the sights, very quickly. I ask, on TV, I see them use this position, but they keep the pistol up very high to where they are looking right over the sights. I demonstrate. Ben replies, yes, they do that, but that's not a good ready position because it partially blocks your view of the room. Plus, you have a tendency to focus on your pistol. Now for the final pistol ready position, which is called close weapon retention ready. It is one that I hope you never have to use because you use this position when your target is almost close enough to touch. If your target is that close, you have to make sure they can't take your pistol from you. Please observe this closely. Ben draws his pistol and this time only uses his left hand. He bends his left elbow and holds his pistol with the muzzle level right against the side of his chest and says, in this position, you can use your free arm to help fend off the attacker, and you can even fire offhand from here. Now you try it. I practice and say, I agree, I sure hope I don't have to use this position because I bet it would hurt if you did fire your pistol against your side. Ben responds with, no, it doesn't really hurt. I ask for confirmation. You've used this position before? Ben gives me a funny look and replies, of course I have. Now you never practiced the rifle ready positions, so let's see how you do on the two I taught you, and I will show you one more. I switch to my rifle, show Ben the rifle low ready position. He moves the rifle a little and further instructs me. There, this is just about perfect. Now the problems with this ready position are? I recite, if the target is below me, I can't see the target, and if I try to pie a room, the rifle will give away my locations and intentions. Ben praises, very good Stacy. So what ready position do we use when we pie a room? I show Ben my indoor ready position and say, this is the indoor ready position which I would use when I pie a room. He again makes a few little adjustments in the position and asks, what is the major drawback? I reply, it takes longer to acquire my target, and if the area is small, I might not be able to bring the rifle up on target. Ben says, demonstrate what you would do if that was the case. I continue to hold my M4 with my left hand, reach back and fumble for my pistol. I look down to see what the frack is wrong and finally bring it up. I'm embarrassed because Ben made that move look so easy earlier. But he doesn't scold me. Instead, he says, Stacy, you just learned a valuable lesson. Please tell me what it was? I blush and say, well, I really messed up trying to draw my pistol with one hand and had to look down to see what was wrong. Ben smiles and praises, that's right. You, for a brief moment, lost situational awareness of the room. In that short amount of time, you could have been killed. Now how are you going to keep that from happening? I quickly reply, I need to practice the heck out of drawing my pistol. Ben smiles and strokes my ego. You're the best student I've ever had. Now for the final rifle ready position. It's called the high ready or point position. You use this position when your target is above you, or when you don't want to disrupt your view of targets below you. We use this position much of the time in the sandbox because many times Haji was in the tall buildings above us. I observe as Ben goes and gets a rifle out of the cabinet, clears the rifle and brings his rifle up to his shoulder. He then lets the rifle slide off his shoulder as he anchors the butt of the rifle to his side with his elbow with the muzzle pointing upward. He moves the rifle back into the firing position several times and instructs, "The muzzle of the rifle should be held at the level of your eyes." The major problem with this position is if you have any of your team above you, they are potentially in line with your muzzle. Now it's your turn. I perform the ready position several times while Ben makes some adjustments. He gives me a sad look and I worry I did something wrong until he says, "Okay, I've delayed this all I can. Lock and load. Check the outside using the surveillance cameras and I'll be back with a pick and shovel." "Present, Stacy." "The burial." I do as ordered. Ben returns, we head outside. Lock the bunker door and do bounding overwatch until we reach the area with the IEDs at the front of the house. Ben says, "Okay, Stacy, it's time to see if the IEDs are still active or not." I question, "But didn't they all explode?" He shakes his head at me and replies, "Stacy, with the things John the Sapper did around here, I'm not assuming anything. To do that would be foolhardy and might cost one of us our lives. In fact, while I've already checked most of the bunker and haven't found any IEDs, I don't want you getting curious about things until I check the rest of the bunker." I watch as he heads over to the IEDs in the ground. Did I mention the ground is really messed up? There are little craters in the ground everywhere from the IEDs. I sure as heck don't know how we missed stepping on one of them and blowing up our legs. Ben pulls some device out of his evade pack and I ask, "Ben, what's that? It looks new." He answers, "It's a digital multimeter that was in the bunker. Because most or all of the IEDs have detonated, I need some way to check the voltage on the wires to verify that when I flipped the switch in the bunker it really disarmed the IEDs." I caution him, "Please be careful, honey." He gives me a dirty look. I quickly decide I'd better not call him honey again until our relationship is a little more concrete in his mind. I continue to SLLS, but I'm also distracted by Ben. Finally he stands up and says, "Well, the power is off, but I bet there are more IEDs around here, so we still need to be careful." Ben looks around, points to a tree and decides, "If I was to die here, that's where I would want to be buried. Stay here and watch my six while I make sure that area is clear of IEDs." I SLLS while Ben heads down the path to the road and then runs over adjacent to the tree. Then he takes his shovel and begins beating the ground in front of him as he walks towards the tree. I hold my breath with worry as I fear he's going to blow himself up. But he makes it to the tree with no problems and then he calls, "Stacy, I've got your butt." "Yes." He did say, but follow my lead and come over by the tree. I jog to the road, head down the road and follow his lead, even making sure once I head off the road I put my footsteps exactly where he walked. When I reach him, he smiles at me and says, "Excellent job. You even followed my footsteps." I compliment him right back, "Of course, because you trained me well. Don't worry, I'll have your back while you're busy." He gives me a sharp look and corrects me, "You mean cover my six?" I grin and reply, "Your six is my responsibility, just like my six is yours." He shakes his head and shifts his focus entirely to digging the grave, more intensely than I've ever seen. He even seems angry, but still takes a moment to scan the surroundings. However, I notice he's not as precise as usual, so I stay sharp and make sure to cover for him. Ben's a fracking digging machine. Dirt is flying everywhere, and he's not slowing up at all. I feel a little guilty for not helping him and ask, "Ben, can I dig for a while?" He doesn't even stop but just says in a really grumpy voice, "No, Stacy, I'm fine." Yep, now I'm sure he's suffering from PMS. That's okay because I can live with it, just like he's going to have to live with mine when that time comes. He finally finishes. I help him out of the hole and he says, "Stacy, you might want to move a bit further away since these bodies are pretty ripe. Also make sure you cover my six while I go and get them." I move to the far side of the tree and at first I worry he's going to carry the bodies, but when he gets to them he pulls out a big piece of plastic, puts on some rubber gloves, gently moves one body on the plastic and then drags the plastic to the grave and lets the body slide into the grave. I'm thankful I moved because Ben was more than right. These bodies really smell. Oh no. They smell just like the house smelled. Now I understand why Ben didn't want me to go into the bedrooms. There were dead bodies in the bedrooms. Just thinking about the smell makes me nauseous again, and I have to fight to keep from getting sick. Ben moves the last 3 bodies over and on the third and last body, he lets the plastic fall into the grave with them. He removes his gloves, throws them into the grave, then he does the most surprising thing. He takes a little bottle of water out of his evade pack, sprinkles it on the bodies, and then recites the Lord's Prayer in Russian. I realize something about which I need to ask him. He begins to fill in the grave and I ask, "Ben, are you Russian Orthodox?" He doesn't miss a shovelful when he replies, "Yes, Stacy, I am." I'm dying to ask him so many questions about how and why and where, but he's so PMSA right now I don't dare. Present Ben, the burial. Could any day be more foobarred than today has been? It started with that crazy dream, then the IEDs all going off at once, then the accidental kiss I gave Stacy to shut her up, then having to bury this whole family, which shouldn't have happened. And now Stacy figures out I'm Russian Orthodox. I wait for the questions which I know are coming, and she surprises me by not saying a word. I finish covering the bodies, look at Stacy and declare, I'm beat. I know I said I was going to take care of the banditos today and teach you how to clear a house, but I don't have the gumption right now. How about we eat some dinner and take it easy? She smiles at me and her smile lightens the heavy load on my soul and says, Ben, I agree. I just wish we could eat something besides Emery's. I'm getting tired of them. I reply, well, there's a kitchen and supplies in the man cave, but I don't have the energy to cook tonight. Her reply gushes with enthusiasm. There's a kitchen in the bunker. That's almost as much good news as the shower. You can shower and relax while I whip us up some dinner. I ask, you know how to cook? The dread brought on because I said those words sets in immediately, but it's too late to take them back. To my surprise, Stacy doesn't get angry. She just smiles and answers, of course I know how to cook. Grandmama made sure I took lessons. Present, Stacy, the bunker. Huh. Ben doesn't think I can cook, but he's in for a big surprise because I can cook my butt off. Grandmama made sure I took cooking lessons in each country we were in, so I excel at cooking. Ben's been really grumpy and upset all day, but I hope a good meal will make him feel better. We head back to the bunker. I still worry when Ben opens the door, but nothing bad happens. He says, Stacy, the kitchen is in the back. Follow me, and I'll show you the rest of the bunker. We head through a corridor to a small but nice kitchen. I stop and look in the pantry, but Ben keeps going, so I ask, where are you going? He explains, I need some time to myself, so I'm going to visit with Bo. What the frack? I decide to watch what he's doing, so I creep up behind him. He goes through several doors. I follow, and we both end up in the stable. Bo sees him and nickers. Ben walks up to Bo, hugs his neck, and scratches him. I secretly wish he was hugging me instead of Bo, but I can always hope for later tonight. I leave Ben with Bo, head into the kitchen to figure out what to cook tonight. I look in the pantry again and find bunches of pasta and all the makings for some great ragu alla bolognese over spaghetti. Now I just need some meat. I see a freezer, look inside, and it's packed full of meat. However, none of it is beef. It's elk, venison, and wild hog. I decide the venison will be the best, so I grab a large package and head to the microwave to thaw it and then prepare a wonderful dinner. While the meat is thawing, I head into the front room of the bunker to have a look at the computer surveillance system. I mess around with it some, discover that it's indeed a real computer, and I decide it's time for me to have some fun. I finish recording and sending my message right as the bell on the microwave dings. Oh well, time to get to my real work now. Present Ben, the bunker. I'm enjoying my time with Bo since I never even had a dog when I was a boy. The closest animal friend I had was a fox, but Bo is as good as any dog. The longer I'm with him, the better I'm feeling. I guess I overreacted today. No, it seems like I've been on edge in general lately. I'm not my normal self and it bothers me. I'm snapped out of my reverie with Bo by a wonderful smell. Damn, Stacy is cooking something in the kitchen. I give Bo one more scratch and head toward the kitchen. Stacy sees me, grins, and hands me a Lone Star beer, already opened. While commenting, perfect timing, you have just enough time to shower and get ready for dinner. I head to the stove to see what she's making, but she orders, hey, this is my kitchen and I'm not having you mess up what I've created. So go shower while I set the table. I reply, thanks for the beer. Where did you find it? She answers, there's a whole fridge full of nothing but beer, but this is just your appetizer because we're having wine with dinner. I think it over and decide if there's beer in here, then these people couldn't be LDS since Mormons don't drink. I give her a jaded look and ask, are you trying to get me drunk? She laughs, yeah, right? Like a big tough Marine, like you needs to worry about a little girl like me getting you drunk. Now go shower. You stink. I reply, yes, nag. I then take off before she can snap me with the kitchen towel she's holding. Present, Stacy, the bunker. It's good that Ben's teasing me again. I guess his time with Bo was the asaltutic. I hurry and set the table. It's not my best cooking, but then I didn't have the ingredients I wanted. I pour us both big glasses of a cheap red wine called Red Truck. I tasted it a bit earlier and determined that it's drinkable. I figure it's about time to put the food on the plates and arrange it just perfectly. If there's one thing I learned in all my classes, it's that the presentation of the food is very important. I just finish lighting the candles as Ben comes in from his shower. He takes one look at the table and praises, I think I need to eat at Chez Stacy's more often. Everything looks and smells wonderful. I blush and say, thank you. It's not my best, but it's the best with what I had to cook with. We sit at the table. Ben holds up his wine glass. I clink mine against his and he toasts. Here's to Stacy who saved us from eating MREs tonight. I giggle and add, and here's to Ben who's saved my life over and over again. I anxiously watch him take his first bite. His eyes light up and he offers, this is a wonderful bolognese sauce, but it has a little different taste than what I'm used to. I reply, I had to use venison rather than the normal beef. He grins and says, yeah, I can taste it now and I like it even better. Stacy, you're hired. Anytime you want to cook for me, I won't complain. Then he tastes the green beans and remarks, where did you get the almonds? I smile and say, now those were in the pantry. I wish I could have made us some garlic bread, but I couldn't find any bread and I didn't have time to make it from scratch. Ben gives me an astounded look and says, you can make bread from scratch? I smile and say, yes, Ben, just like I'm constantly surprised by the things I don't know about you. Like today when I found out you're Russian Orthodox, you're going to be surprised by many things about me. He holds up his wine glass again. We clink them together and he says, discovery is half the fun of a relationship. I blush and we're both so hungry we dig in and the heck with conversation. We end up devouring the whole pot and 2 bottles of wine. I'm so stuffed I can barely move, but I do ask, Ben, do you think we could sit outside for a little bit tonight? I'm going a little stir crazy in this bunker. He answers, Stacy, I think we could if we take our rifles with us. I clean up the plates and ask, Ben, would you please take my rifle and the chairs out to the front of the bunker? I'll be there in a minute. He answers, sure thing. I'll meet you out front. I hurry, rinse the dishes and just set them in the sink for now. Then I grab another couple beers, open them and head out front. Ben's waiting for me, and he even has a funny-looking little guitar with him. I hand him a beer, we clink our bottles and I toast, Carpe Cerevisium. He grins and comments, hey, I like that. Isn't it Latin for seize the beer? I grin and answer, yes, you're right. Now what's this funny little guitar you have? Ben replies, it's a Martin Backpacker's guitar that I found inside. Would you like for me to play you a song? I take a big drink of my beer, giggle and say, yes, now that you mention it, I think you should play to pay for your supper. He answers, then I'd better play something really good because your meal was par excellence. He plays, it's really good, even better than my meal. I close my eyes and I get lost in his guitar playing. He does this really long flamenco-style guitar, then he settles down to a real nice rhythmic beat, sort of a boom, chicka, which sounds so familiar. I open my eyes as Ben grins at me and begins to sing. Hello, Stacy in the Sand. Is this place at your command? I interrupt, hey, that's supposed to be Cowgirl, not Stacy. Then I echo his lines and add harmonies. Can I stay here for a while? Can I see your sweet, sweet smile? Old enough now to change your name. When so many love you, is it the same? It's the woman in you that makes you want to play this game. Hello, Ruby in the Dust. Has your band begun to rust? After all the sin we've had, I was hoping that we'd turn bad. Old enough now to change your name. When so many love you, is it the same? It's the woman in you that makes you want to play this game. Hello, woman of my dreams. This is not the way it seems. Purple words on a gray background. To be a woman and to be turned down. Old enough now to change your name. When so many love you, is it the same? It's the woman in you that makes you want to play this game. I quickly finish my beer and offer, I'm getting another beer. Do you want one? He nods his head and says, yeah, but just one more. I head inside, grab 2 more beers, head back out the front, but unfortunately Ben stopped playing guitar. I hand him his beer, opened of course, and ask, can I see that guitar? He gives me a jaded look and asks, you know how to play guitar? I grin and say, oh, I know a little about playing guitar. I take the guitar, grin at him and add, I'll take your old school, Neil Young Cowgirl in the Sand and Raise You Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. Then I begin to strum the guitar and sing. I hope I've made my point. Finish. Hand the guitar to Ben and say, your turn. He says, not right now, Stacy. I pout some and say, why not? He points up to the sky and says, Stacy, look at the clouds and tell me what you see. The sun is setting as I look at the clouds and say, wow, they look really strange. I've never seen greenish clouds before. Ben adds, well, the only time I've ever seen clouds like this was when it was tornado weather. I watch as lightning flashes across the sky. Then I hear a low moaning noise, so I get worried and ask, is that a tornado I hear? He replies, no, I think that's our mystery didgeridoo player again. I listen and Ben's right. I excitedly say, hey, I think I know that piece of music. Ben says, yes, tonight he's serenading us with Fanfare for Common Man by Aaron Copland. He takes the guitar, plays along, and once again I close my eyes and I'm lost in his guitar playing, until some loud obnoxious noise disturbs me. I remark, what the frack is that noise? I open my eyes, Ben's gathering up everything and says, now that noise is a tornado and it's close as hell. let's get inside the bunker. I quickly grab my things. We head inside the bunker and a big wind hits. It's so strong I have to help Ben slam the door closed. We no sooner get the door closed than the lights go out and we're in total darkness. I yell at Ben, I'm scared we're going to be killed by the tornado, and start to sniffle. Ben runs into me, knocks me down and then falls on top of me. I hug the heck out of him and giggle because we're like two ships that collide in the night. Then things start to get real interesting and, oh no, something really bad happens. Flashback Ben, Charlie's apartment, early morning day 9. A commotion in the living room woke me, and it was all I could do to keep from laughing. Charlie must have snuck out of her bedroom to visit me on the couch, just like I knew she would. But I wasn't on the couch and now she and Jack were getting better acquainted. Flashback Jack, Charlie's apartment, early morning day 9. I was tired as hell, fell right to sleep and had a great dream about Mira. When I was rudely awakened by, shit, maybe my dream was for real, because someone was touching me in a very personal manner. I opened my eyes and foggily announced, Mira, I knew sooner or later you'd be back for more. Charlie, what the hell? Oh shit, now I remembered I'm in her apartment with Ben. Yelled Jack, what the hell are you doing on the couch? I laughed. It's more like I should ask you what your hands are doing. Then I relearned an important lesson. Don't smart-mouth a woman who has your family jewels in her hands. After inflicting injury on me, and it wasn't even my fault this time, she stormed back to her bedroom. I swore I heard Ben laughing from the floor of the second bedroom. Flashback Ira, early morning day 9 spook school. I must assist my sister in her search for her Lance Corporal Blaine. My ineptitude caused his untimely departure from her domicile. We hastened to Sergeant Reynolds' room to interrogate him, but Lance Corporal Blaine and Sergeant Reynolds had departed, and we encountered only Kai, who was restrained to the chair. Mira discovered a note. Her face became ghastly white, and her hands quivered as she opened and comprehended the note. She sharply inhaled, released the note from her hands, and as it fluttered to the floor she slumped and released a heart-wrenching wail. I queried Mira, what is the problem? She refused to answer me, assumed a fetal position, and continued to weep. I dropped to the floor beside her, unsuccessfully attempted to comfort her, acquired the note, and read, Mira, your sister Ira's arrival here and the actions she's taken have shown me that without meaning to, I have come between you and your sister. Being an only child, I always wished for a brother or a sister to share my life, and I can only imagine how much stronger that bond is because you two are twins. I will not allow myself to continue to separate you and your sister. So I have moved out of your room and found another place to live until the school is over in a few more days. When those days are gone, we will both leave the school and life will return to normal between you and your sister. I'm sorry, Mira, that I must break up with you. I will miss you and will always look fondly on both the good and trying times we shared together. Ben. Flashback Mira. Early morning day 9 spook school. The dreaded note to complete all dreaded notes. My boyfriend had terminated our love, thereby inflicting a pain worse than death. And we never even, oh cruel, cruel fate, to arrange such a circumstance whereby his honor required him to sacrifice his recently energetically emerging emotions toward me. A faint trace of his sweet last kiss lingered on my quivering lips to preserve the sanctity of our sisterly bond. Fate, I hate thee and curse the day you were conceived. There is no joy left in life. There is no reason remaining to live. Cruel fate, who rived my heart from my chest, terminate my life also. Flashback Ira. Early morning day 9 spook school. This was a most inopportune and impertinent manner in which to terminate the relationship with my sister. I was astonishingly, amazingly, acrimoniously angered. I leapt up, slapped Kai awake, proceeded to extricate him from his restraints and ordered, Kai, we must immediately find and terminate Lance Corporal Blaine. He has grievously and gravely insulted my sister and must pay for his impertinence with his worthless life. Many hours later. Flashback, Major M. Early evening day 9 spook school. I was just getting ready to head to the spy school for a meeting with Sergeant Reynolds and Lance Corporal Blaine to debrief them about yesterday's mission when my phone rang. I picked it up and Sergeant Reynolds said, Major M, we have an issue. I thought, not again. What the hell has happened now? I controlled my anger and questioned, Sergeant Reynolds, what seems to be the problem? He answered, Sir, I don't know how to put this, but we've lost Ben. I shook my head, wondered, and then asked, Sergeant, I think you need to explain yourself better. Sergeant Reynolds explained, Well, sir, Ben and I showed up at the school together this morning. Then we were separated for today's training. Neither myself nor Mira have seen him since, And to be truthful, we're worried something has happened to him. I attempted to clarify. Are you sure the Lance Corporal hasn't gone AWOL? Sergeant Reynolds countered. AWOL? Oh no, sir. We all had plans to meet for lunch and then for dinner, and he's missed both meetings. I know Ben, and he would never miss occasions like this. Ms. Sedankina, she must have taken the phone from Sergeant Reynolds, yelled in an extreme state of agitation. Mike, do not grow a bush around the beat. It took me a moment to decipher she meant beat around the bush. Lance Corporal Blaine has not left without absence. Someone has absconded with his cute Corporal derriere. I heard a huge fight, and then Sergeant Reynolds was back on the phone. Sorry about that, sir. Mira grabbed the phone away from me. Not to tell you what to do, but if you don't get here soon, I'm concerned Mira is so upset she's going to make this an international incident. I questioned, can't you stop her, SGT? He replied, sir, I'm doing my best, but by the time I caught up to her, she'd already beaten half the instructors in this piece of shit school senseless trying to find Ben. Now she has her sights set on the commandant. I heard Ms. Sedankina yell in the background, Stinky Sergeant Reynolds, remove your malodorous ministrations from my corporal body. My lower bipedal extremity has an appointment with the commandant's posterior orifice. Shit. Once again, more went on here than I had been told. I gave Sergeant Reynolds an order, he replied, sir. Are you certain you want me to do this? You do know what's going to happen if I do as ordered. I commanded, Sergeant, do as I ordered, and I'll be right there. Damn it. What the hell had gone on? Many hours earlier. Flashback Mira. Morning day 9 spook school. I anxiously awaited the arrival of my absent boyfriend. After I comprehended the note and collapsed, and then Ira threatened the demise of my Lance Corporal, I leapt into action. Ira and I had a not-so-compassionate or gentle discussion last night about the situation, and she now understood a fact which my Lance Corporal might not comprehend yet. He was my boyfriend until I adjudicated differently. The culmination of our not-so-little sisterly altercation was when I forced both her and Kai to ingest tracking devices before they departed the school. I did not trust they would not still attempt in some manner to return and damage my Lance Corporal. Being forearmed is being warned 4 times. Now they were headed back to the Hades they groveled from in markedly different condition than when they arrived. No one, not even my loving and naive sister, could muddle with my boyfriend without suffering Myra's wrath. I was succinctly and scintillatingly smug as I awaited my swain's arrival at school for 2 reasons. First, I had for once defeated my sister in combat because I was properly motivated. And second, now it would be my swain's turn to become equally enlightened, ending his endless irascible, irrational, irritating notes. Flashback, Ira. Flight back to. My cranial unit was assaulted in amazing anguish, terrific turmoil, and prodigious pride. Anguish from the multiple marks upon my corporal self, inflicted by a massively motivated Mira. My only solace was Kai appeared to be utilized worse than me. In turmoil over the fact that I no longer had sole possession of my sister's love, I was now forced to share it with her Lance Corporal. This was a circumstance which she forced me to tolerate for the present time. And pride because at endless last, Mira found the proper motivation by which to defeat even me. I metaphorically applied my taste bud repository to the aforementioned wounds and cogitated on the many mistakes which precipitated my predicament, pondering to perceive the perfect resolution to an irresolute position. Mistake 1, I postulated, was allowing Mira to undertake this mission. I had not recognized her emotionally endangered state when she left, her endangerment due to the demise anniversary of our parents. Mistake 2, I failed to immediately recognize the obvious signs, partially due to Myra's cunningly extreme deception, of her impending emotional entanglement with the L.CPL. Mistake 3, I assumed her reports about the aforementioned Lance Corporal's skills were greatly exaggerated. He was a man who mastered motivation and applied such motivation masterfully. Mistake 4 was my failed attempt at a full frontal assault to terminate the terrible circumstances which troubled Mira. In hindsight and in the future, such attempts needed to be wrapped in the invisibility cloak of intrigue and deception. Now to devise a delicate demise for this deleterious debacle. Flashback, Jack, morning day, 9 driving to the spook school. Ben grinned like the Joker in a Batman movie at me and teased. I thought I heard some funny noises from the couch last night. Did you and Charlie have a liaison? I griped. You sure as hell know we didn't, you smug SOB. You knew that was going to happen. He laughed. Jack, I knew Charlie was going to come out for a visit, and I hoped you'd pull out some of that famous charm of yours and work the pants off her. To be truthful, I'm not comfortable having a real relationship with her, or anyone else right now. So what the hell went wrong? Because she's a woman, so she is your type? I confessed in embarrassment. I was having a dream about Mira, and accidentally called her Mira when she woke me up. Ben laughed so hard. He almost lost control of the car and answered, Jack, you need to get Mira the hell out of your mind. She's got a one-track mind. She's tied me to that track and is trying to railroad me. Now it was my turn, so I teased. Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, how do you plan on handling Mira, her sister Ira, and Kai? He grinned and smugly remarked, Jack, it's already taken care of. I left Mira a very logical note last night, and I told her I was breaking up with her, so I wouldn't interfere with the relationship she has with Ira. Ira coming here worked perfectly into my plan. I looked at him and demanded, were you born yesterday? There's no way in hell Myra is going to swallow that load of bull. No siree, Bob. All you did was probably get Mira really pissed off. You should know better than to ever break up with a woman using a note. You either need to do it in person and take the pain that follows, or take the coward's way and do it over the phone. Notes always lend themselves to misinterpretation. I grinned as the smile disappeared from his face. Imagine, Ben trying to teach me about women? Flashback Ben. Morning day, 9 driving to the spook school. Shit. Jack had me concerned that I possibly screwed up with Mira. What if he was right and I was wrong? What if I really did just get Mira pissed off at me? I remembered all the times she kicked Jack's and others' butts and hoped mine wouldn't be the next but she kicked. As we drove into the school parking lot, I spotted Mira waiting for me, and my concern grew as she noticed the car and walked straight toward us. She reached the side of the car, then smiled at me, which eased my worry a little, though I still hesitated to open the door. She tapped on the window, and I rolled it down slightly. With a playful tone, Mira said, well, look who finally decided to show up. I couldn't hear the rest because Jack burst into laughter like a hyena. I shushed Jack, tried to respond when Mira ordered, extricate your corporal self from the vehicle, my errant boyfriend. There are items which I must make you cognizant of before classes commence. Once again, Jack laughed his butt off. At least Mira didn't seem, well, really pissed at me. I unlocked and opened the door. Mira latched onto my arm again like that damn leech and led me away. I felt like a lamb being led to the slaughter. As we got to the side of the parking lot, Mira turned toward me, smiled, handed a piece of paper to me, and patiently explained, my boyfriend, I believe you accidentally dropped this last night. It would be prudent not to leave such fallacies to be found, otherwise I might receive the wrong perception. I looked at the paper, which was a crumpled mess. I opened it and verified it was my damn note from last night. I looked up, scanned Myra's eyes, and then her slight grin. I just knew I had to choose my next words very carefully. I smiled and lied through my teeth. Thank you, Mira. You are correct. It must have slipped out of my pocket. She hugged me, gave me a hell of a kiss, and Jack again laughed like crazy. Flashback, Jack, morning day 9, spook school. Damn, this wasn't quite enough fun. Somehow Ben avoided the butt kicking from Mira, which he deserved, and it still appeared, at least in Myra's eyes, and the woman's eyes are all that really counted in a situation like this, that she and Ben were still a couple. Wisely, Ben didn't say anything stupid. I guess he'd finally listened to some of my teaching, and Mira was all grins as she dragged him back towards me by his arm. She beamed when she said, Glorious morning, Sergeant Reynolds. What did you find so comical already today? Now I needed to save my bacon, so I lied like hell. Mira, that was laughter of joy seeing you two together. She grinned at me, and Ben looked like he was going to shit his pants. We were just getting ready for PT when a student ran by and said, I guess you guys didn't hear, they want everyone in the main building ASAP. I looked at the half-happy couple and remarked, I wonder what the hell's going on now. I guess we'd better head to the main building. And for once those two didn't get a chance to run my poor butt off. Many hours later. Flashback, Jack. Early evening, day 9, spook school. I just finished my conversation with the major while fighting to hold on to Mira. At the same time I announced, Mira, Major M is coming and he has ordered me to do something. She stopped fighting me and asked, Sergeant Reynolds, inform me of your conversation and especially of Mike's request. I motioned her close to me. I did as Major M ordered, then all hell broke loose. Flashback, Major M. Early evening, day 9, spook school. I drove like a maniac to get to the school, arrived and saw Sergeant Reynolds had followed orders and had suffered for it. I had ordered him to handcuff himself to Miss Sedankina, so she couldn't go more berserk than she already had. It wasn't meant to totally stop her. It was simply a delay tactic until I could arrive at the damn school and take control of things. I calculated that in Miss Sedankina's agitated state, she would be distracted and forget she could pick the handcuff locks, and I was right. But Sergeant Reynolds paid a huge price. It looked like he was unconscious on the ground. The scene was comical as hell. I stopped the car, jumped out, and ran over to Miss Sedankina while still laughing. She saw and heard me and complained, Mike, this is not a comedy. Sergeant Reynolds assaulted my corporal self by attaching himself to me. I demand that you reprimand him to the full extent possible. I grinned at her and replied, Sorry, Ms. Sedankina, I cannot do that. He was just following my orders. In hindsight, that might not have been the wisest thing to say. Ms. Sedankina lunged at me, dragging Sergeant Reynolds behind her, and nailed me pretty good on the side of my face. I jumped further away and she yelled, Mike, when I extricate myself, I will graft gnarls on your cranial globosity. It was time to defuse the situation so the sergeant, and more importantly I, didn't get further injured. I answered, Ms. Sedankina, if you calm down and stop wasting your energy, we can all begin to look for Lance Corporal Blaine. Believe me, I want to find him almost as badly as you do. While I watched her, she seemed to calm some and stated, I do not believe you have the same motivation for finding him which I have. However, if we work together as a team, it would be advisable. Now release my appendage from Sergeant Reynolds. I looked at her with my best poker face and asked, Don't tell me you don't have a handcuff key or can't pick that lock. My assumptions were again correct, and that comment took all the fire out of her. She fumbled in her pocket, took out a key and removed the handcuff from her wrist, and then kicked Sergeant Reynolds one last time and shouted, If you ever do that to me again, I will remove your upper phalangeal unit to extricate myself. She turned towards me and continued, Now, Mike, how will we locate my Lance Corporal? I probed, Just what was the training schedule for today? When she told me, and I got really pissed off since I now had a good idea what happened. I ordered Ms. Sedankina to try to revive the sergeant, while I make some phone calls. I will get to the bottom of this. Flashback, Ben. Early evening day 9, somewhere. Son of a bitch. Not again. The scumsuckers lowered me into the ice bath one more time. This day had been one foobarred mess. Even as good as I am, I didn't see this coming. When they separated us at the beginning of the day for torture techniques and training, I was placed in a room by myself, and they must have gassed me, because I woke up in shackles while the scumsuckers going to be dead soon laughed at me. Then the torture started. Only they weren't interested in seeing if they could break me. They were interested in retribution for all the shit I'd handed out at the school. The whole time the scumsuckers laughed at me. They were going to pay for this one way or another. It started with the waterboarding. And that told me who the hell I was dealing with because it's one of this agency's favorite interrogations techniques. But I guess I resisted too well because they stopped after an hour or so and moved on. Yeah, they moved on to Little Sparky, their version of a non-lethal electric chair, which if you had a bad heart wasn't entirely non-lethal. I bit the hell out of the scumsucker that put the gag in my mouth, so he beat the hell out of me for it. But I think I drew more blood than he did. But he was good at running the current just right so I wouldn't pass out from the pain. Then he would crank it up and down till my body jumped like I had a seizure. I fought like hell until Hard Ben finally showed up. While the shackles were too strong for him to break, just as when I was a boy, he took the punishment so I didn't have to bear it. He even inflicted some of his own retribution. Yeah, when the scumsucker released us from Little Sparky, Hard Ben kicked him in the crotch so hard he passed out and shit himself. It might not have been the best thing to do, because that really pissed everyone off and then they started to hammer on me. Finally, they became out-of-control scumsuckers, and while the briefing at the school stated they weren't allowed to inflict any marks on the people tortured, they threw that out the window and they took turns beating me until they were worn out and I was a bloody mess. They thought I was unconscious when they took me down from the hooks in the ceiling. That was a big mistake because Hard Ben head butted the hell out of one of the scumsuckers and knocked his butt out too. So far, the score was Hard Ben 2, Spook Torture Idiots 0. Next was the famous standing torture, which doesn't sound that bad unless you've been forced to do it. The way it's supposed to work is they strap your feet tightly to the floor so they can't be moved. After an extended time, your ankles swell and bruise, and it gets really painful. However, they didn't count on the fact that I could alternate the muscle tension in each leg, so it didn't really bother me, and even gave me time to plan their upcoming deaths. It must have been lunch, because they unstrapped me from the floor, and while I tried to nail one of them this time, they'd gotten wise to my attempts and I didn't get in any good hits. They forced my hands behind my back, then connected my hands to a rope and pulled me up in the air. This was known as the Palestinian hanging. My arms, which had the hell beat out of them, fatigued fast, and if Hard Ben hadn't shown up, the scumsuckers would have dislocated my shoulders or killed me from suffocation. They made another huge mistake. They didn't have my wrists tied tightly enough, and I was able to flip over, so I was just hanging by my arms. I surprised the hell out of them when they came back into the room because Hard Ben had us swinging and having a good time. The minute I heard the door start to open, I swung over and slammed into it as hard as I could with both feet. There was a satisfying crunch and screams from the hallway. Hard Ben Mini, Torturers 0. Then they took perverse pleasure as they tossed me into unconsciousness. I woke up, had been stripped and had sweat pouring out of my body. They put me in the hotbox. I'd just about get parboiled, then they'd yank me out of the hot box and dump me in the ice water bath. You might not think that ice water is much of a torture, but when you're in there long enough, and when they alternate between ice water and the hot box, your body screams out in intense pain. I felt my muscles begin to knot as I shivered uncontrollably while the scumsuckers laughed. These scumsuckers were going to die. I don't know how long it went on, but finally Flashback, Major M, early evening day 9 spook school. I called all over hell and couldn't find the Lance Corporal. Miss Sedankina had awakened Sergeant Reynolds, came over with fire in her eyes and demanded, Mike, I have performed my portion of the agreement. Have you discovered the location of my Lance Corporal? If you have not, I will beat you with a millimeter of your corporal existence. Damn. With that look on her face and threat from her mouth, I was going to be the next one unconscious. I just started to open my mouth and face her fury when 2 shadows stepped out from the bushes and one of them announced, Mira, he doesn't know where Ben is, but we do, and we've been waiting for the Major so we can go and rescue him. She spun, pulled her weapon, aimed it at them, and at the same time demanded, You and your compatriot are not the ones from before who assisted my Lance Corporal. If you have knowledge of the coordinates of my Lance Corporal, you will instantly inform me. I was impressed, because even as fast as Mira was, the 2 shadows had her covered with their weapons. A different voice announced, Mira, we are at a Mexican standoff. The longer we argue about things, the more damage Ben is taking. We have been watching you, but we had to wait for the Major because we need his authorization to enter the location where Ben is held. Miss Sedankina spun, grabbed me by the shoulders, shook the hell out of me, and further demanded, Major Mike, authorize them. If my Lance Corporal has been damaged, I need to rescue him post-haste. I knew better than to argue with her. Flashback, Ben, late night day 9 somewhere. Oh damn. I feel like shit. Where the hell am I? Shit. I'm hot as hell. Am I still in the hot box? No. I'm lying in some sort of bed with something hot and heavy as hell lying on top of me. I hear a voice in the hallway, paging Dr. Douglas Pepper. Dr. Pepper, please come to the 3rd floor nurse's station. I find that funny as hell, begin to laugh, and then I realize the reality of the heavy thing on top of me. Present, Linus, C-130 somewhere in flight. Damn. I'm sure glad I'm not one of the doctors taking care of me. Maria has chewed their butts until they don't have any meat left. Shit. If Maria wasn't here, I'd just slap a band-aid on my little flesh wound and get back to work. I finally get Maria to mellow out and I suggest, thanks Maria for taking care of me. But I still have work to do. She gives me a dirty look but pleads, Linus, you need to rest and heal. I answer, Maria, if we don't find someplace safe and defensible, we'll all be resting 6 feet under. Now let me go discuss everything with Jens. She helps me up, even though I didn't need help, and walks with me to where Jens is talking to Matt and watching Masha. I state, Jens, sorry to interrupt, but since we were attacked at an airport on the outskirts of DC, I feel we need to find someplace safe which we can adequately defend. I watch her think for a moment as she decides, Linus, I know the perfect place. Please keep an eye on Masha while I go and talk to the pilot. And Maria, I hate to take you away from Linus, but I need you to do some Girl Friday stuff. Maria looks at me and orders, Linus, you take it easy or I'll hogtie you. I know better than to mouth off to her, because then she just might make good on her threat. So I smile and answer, yes dear. But that still earns me a bit of a dirty look from her. She walks away with Jens and leaves me alone with Matt, so I ask, Present, Jens, C-130 somewhere in flight. Maria and I need to have a little talk. As we walk together toward the flight deck, she starts to complain about being taken away from Linus. I stop her and say, listen Maria, unless you want to lose Linus, you'd better listen to me. She answers, Jens, what are you talking about? I softly reply, Maria, I learned my lesson the very hard way with Ben. I was too smothering with him, and it's probably cost me the only real love I will ever have. I don't want to see you do the same thing with Linus. She gives me a shocked look and blurts out, don't tell me you've given up on marrying Ben. I grin at her and say, hell no. It's just that with what I found out from Mike, I need to regroup and reconsider my tactics. We reach the flight deck and I ask Maria, wait for me while I talk to the pilot. Then I really do have some work for you. I think, yeah, I know the perfect place, safe, defensible, and impenetrable because I had it built that way. We're headed back to Ben's and my cabin, but it won't be the homecoming I had dreamed of. Oh well. I know the C-130 can't land at Leadville's airport, so we will have to. Present, Maria, C-130 somewhere in flight. What the? My princess boss is acting crazier than she usually acts, but she did give me something to think about. I reflect on my actions with Linus and oh shit, she's right. I've been smothering the hell out of Linus. It's just that I haven't had a real man in such a long time. I've dedicated all my pin-up energy on him. Jens walks back and I ask, So what do you think I should do about Linus? She explains, first Maria, call Jack and tell him we're headed to the cabin in Leadville and to meet us at Denver International Airport, DA. Then I need you to arrange for transportation for all of us from DA to Ben's and my cabin in Leadville, Colorado. Find out from the doctors on the C-130 if the wounded we have can safely make the trip. If not, then let's put them in the Swedish Medical Center in Inglewood. She hands me 2 numbers and says, if they have to go to Swedish, call the top number. Tell them who you are and that you work for me and that we need some friends protected. Then she finally says, call the second number on the card. Again, tell them who you are and that you work for me and get them to pack our rooms at the extended stay hotel and truck everything out to Leadville. Tell them to call you when they arrive, and we will arrange to get everything to the cabin. I question, who are these guys? She answers, the first group is ex-Black Op guys you don't want to mess with that owe me a couple of favors. The next is a moving company that Ben and I own part of. Now let me tell you my thoughts about Linus. When she whispers in my ear, I smile at her and say, Jens, that's brilliant. Are you going to do that with Ben? She grins and answers, well, sort of, but Ben's a special case, so he needs handled a bit differently and we still need to find him first before he marries that Stacy bitch. I seriously question, you don't really think he would marry her, do you? She looks really sad and says, Maria, with what Mike told me, right now Ben's liable to do anything. I can only hope that Stacy bitch makes. He phone beeps and interrupts her. Present, Matt. C-130 somewhere in flight. Linus asks me, Matt, you've been married for a while, so how do you handle it when your wife gets clingy as hell? I look at him and laugh. Yeah, I saw Maria with the doctors and they're still picking up pieces of there, but it's from the chewing she gave them. So how long have you and Maria been a couple? Linus looks around, moves closer to me and admits, Matt, that's just it. I'm not sure we are a couple. We just sort of hooked up after Jens' trial. I laugh my butt off then answer, Linus, there is no sort of just hooked up when a woman is concerned, at least a woman that's not a skank or a hooker. So tell me how she was. He blushes and stammers, Matt, I've never been with a woman like her. I interrupt to save him from more embarrassment. Linus, let me tell you, every man needs to have at least one Latina lover in his life. They are some of the most exciting and sensual women you will ever find. He questions, then why aren't you married to one? I chuckle, I almost was, then I met Molly and she had me roped and hog-tied before I ever knew what hit me. Listen, if Maria is all you say she is, you'd be a fool to let her go. Latina women love to take care of their men, and she's being overprotective right now. Be patient. Give her time, and it will get better. He shakes his head. There's nothing else I can do? I laugh and add, yeah, you could be a fool and break up with her. I hear a hell of a noise coming from the front of the C-130. Look at Linus and demand, what the hell is that? He answers, I don't know. It sounds like someone's in trouble. Let's move it. We jump up and head toward the front of the C-130. Present, Byron and Tom, C-130 somewhere in flight. Tom looks at me and asks, what the hell is going on at the front of the plane? I reply, I sure as hell don't know. But it sounds like someone's in trouble, so let's beat feet. I grab my rifle just in case. Yeah, it's not locked and loaded, not on an airplane, but I'm sure as hell not going anywhere without her anymore. As Tom remarks, I sure as hell hope we don't have any more issues, especially on this plane. Present, Jim and Megan, C-130 somewhere in flight. I'm taking care of Megan. Thank God she's finally awakened, but she's sick as hell. Despite how she feels, she apologizes to me. Jim, you're such a great guy. I'm sorry I'm such a mess right now. I smile at her, squeeze her hand and say, Megan, you look beautiful to me. Somehow she squeezes out a smile and says, well, I'm sure not going drinking with Jens again. She drinks like a fish. And what are you trying to do being so nice? Get into my pants. I grin and boldly ask, well, is it working? Megan smiles, gets ready to answer, then there's a hell of a noise form the front of the plane. Matt and Linus run by and Matt commands, come on, Jim. We need to see what the hell's going on. I look at Megan. She winks at me and offers, go get him, Tiger. I might answer you when you get back. I take off after Matt and Linus and hope the answer will be yes. Present, James, C-130 somewhere in flight. I'm taking care of Hammer and Todd. They're both conscious and doing great for all they've been through. There's a huge commotion close to us and Hammer asks, Wit to heal is Stushy? Todd begins to sign. It sounds like we under attack? I'm pissed as hell because they're being disturbed and they need their rest. So I say, don't worry, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go and find out. Present, Maria, C-130 somewhere in flight. My princess boss has gone moonbat totally insane. I see she's watching a video on her phone, turns really white and throws her phone against the side of the C-130. It explodes into hundreds of pieces as Jens starts jumping up and down, yelling and cussing like a sailor. I command, Jens, simmer down and tell me what's happened. In reply, She screams, "That no good sorry skank." I question, "Who? Stacy?" She yells, "Hell yes. That freaking little bony, skinny, skanky 304. Don't ever mention her name around me again." She then descends again into incoherent ranting. I look around and everyone, even Linus, is here watching Yin's tantrum. I walk close to Linus, but not too close, and he asks, "What the hell is going on?" I grin at him, shake my head and answer, "I don't have any idea." She was watching a video on her phone, then went batshit crazy. She starts throwing stuff around and Linus says, "Well, I'd better see what I can do, otherwise someone's going to get hurt." I want to grab him and keep him safe from Yints, but before Yints became really crazy, she made a hell of a lot of sense, so I say, "Go to your job, I've got your six." Present, Linus, C-130 somewhere in flight. Women are a mystery. No, not just Yints. I can understand that something has her all fired up, and it must have something to do with Ben and Stacy. It's Maria. She's acting like, well, just like we're friends. And I thought, anyway, I need to take control of this situation before Yints hurts someone or herself. I approach Yints, but not too closely, and try to reason with her. "Yints, I don't know what happened, but your reaction isn't helping us find Ben." She explodes some more. "I'll find that scumsucker and his skanky Stacy hoe and blow them both to hell." Okay, that didn't quite work like I had hoped. Time for a new approach. I approach with a different question. "So, do I understand Ben did something with Stacy?" Yints swears by now, "Probably hell yes. That skinny, skanky, hoe. Shit. I'm not getting anywhere. All I'm doing is just upsetting her more." Then something even more surprising happens. Masha walks up to Yints, puts her good arm on Yints' shoulder and states, "Jennifer, so this Stacy girl performed some prank to anger you, and you unwisely let her win. That is not like the Jennifer I know. Come tell me what it is, and we will plot a revenge which will make her sorry for the day of her birth." Yints stops throwing her fit, looks at Masha and agrees. "Masha, you're right. I let her piss me off and win. And I love the idea of getting revenge on her for the skanky trick she played. Come on, Linus. I need your help and your computer." Maria says, "Go on, Linus. I'm going to clean up this mess, and then I've got some work to do." Shit, we just get Yints under control, and now Maria is acting weird. What the hell is going on? Are all the women hormonal at once? Yints, Masha and I rush to the back of the plane, and Yints says, "Thanks, Masha, for the revenge idea. Okay, Linus, since I destroyed my phone, I need to borrow your laptop so I can get into my email and show you what that hoe sent me. I bet we can use it to locate her and Ben." I log my laptop into a guest account and hand it to her. She looks at me, grins and teases, "So you aren't letting me into your real account?" I grin back at her and reply, "No way in hell, not after the last time you screwed up my computer in Afghanistan." Her fingers fly across the keyboard, opening her email account. She pulls up the email and directs us to look at what this skinny, skanky 304 sent. Present, Masha, C-130 somewhere in flight. Jennifer, Linus, and Matt had incorrectly assumed I was unconscious when I was using my superior skill in meditation to render the pain of my fractured clavicle insignificant, and to contemplate on how to mitigate the damage the current situation had done to my once perfect life. The damage done to my shoulder is insignificant compared to the threat of damage which looms over my marriage. My perfect husband Jack has begun, because of my recent ill-advised but necessary acts, to ask too many questions. I am actually thankful for the wound, because now he will concentrate on my disability, taking care of me during my self-prolonged recovery and retrieving our wonderful boy Vanya. Yes, wonderful Ivan might be the thread that holds our precarious marriage together, unless I can persuade Jack that I really married him for love. I listen with much interest to Matt's advice to Linus, almost breaking into laughter several times. Men are such children. That gives me an idea which might help with my current marital predicament. My senses are immediately alert, and I snap out of my meditative stupor when Jennifer begins her childish tantrum. I comprehend that not one of the persons on this plane has the intelligence God gave a goose in Russian, and know how to apply the correct motivation to Jennifer to end her tantrum. So, I wearily walk to the front of the airplane and once again control the unending drama of Jennifer and Ben. If I did not owe such a debt to Ben for introducing me to Jack, I would shoot both of them and be done with it. But I have concluded that the two of them truly need each other to complete their happiness. I just pray to God their happiness doesn't totally fracture my own happiness. Now we are to see the famous video that launched the tantrum, but first I must cloak what I am about to do in a little lie in order to alleviate any possible questions. I cunningly declare, Jennifer and Linus, part of my job in Russia was to analyze people, videos, and photos. Many people do not realize how much information is revealed, not by what is said or seen in a video or photo, but by what is in the background and also by the microfacial expressions displayed by the subject. Jennifer, if it would not be a bother, and if you would trust me not to snoop in your email, would you leave me undisturbed for about 10 minutes so I might be able to totally focus upon this video? Jennifer replies, sure Masha, there's nothing in my email right now that you can't see. Come on Linus, I think I need to go and apologize to everyone. I smile and think that she most certainly needs to do that. However, instead I say, thank you Jennifer. Please come back in 10 minutes for my synopsis. The first time I will actually just observe the video, and then I will do the analysis. I launch the video. See Stacy in here. Greetings, Jennifer the all-Ameriskank. Yeah, I'm sure you know who I am. It was so much fun sending you off to Las Vegas to look for me and Ben. Tell me, how far did you get before you realized I sent you on a wild goose chase? She laughs at what she felt was her cleverness, and the message then continues. And I'm sure by now, even being the brainless blonde bimbo you are, you figured out I am really Stacy Summers. I'm sending this to tell you just how incredibly wonderful Ben is. He is the absolute best kisser and lover I have ever had. Once again, she pauses and laughs into the camera, then finishes. So just go away and leave us the heck alone. Ben's chosen me because I'm younger, prettier, and have more money than you. So go away and die, you old broken down biatch. Then she flashes the bad finger to the camera and the video ends. Very interesting. I see many things which require closer scrutiny. Present, Jens and Linus. C-130 somewhere in flight. I start heading up to the front of the plane to make amends for my fit and apologize to everyone. To be truthful, after talking with Masha, I do feel embarrassed. I really let that Stacy bitch get under my skin. Masha was right. Stacy baited me and I fell for it. That's not going to happen again. I smile as I remember my dream of shooting her skanky, but in the church. Linus asks, Jens, what are you smiling about? I sort of lie. I was just thinking about some of the good times I've shared with Ben. I'm sure Stacy will never share those kind of times with him. He continues, so what do you think about Masha? I reply, well, at least we now know what she did in Russia, and it certainly helps to explain why she's the way she is. I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of information she can pull from this video. I'd love to catch that skanky bitch and beat her butt. I get distracted when I visualize beating her, but so hard she can't sit for a month, and then screwing Ben's brains out right in front of the bitch. Linus nudges me and says, Jens, did you hear me? I blush and ask, sorry, please repeat what you said. He says, I don't know. It still seems like there's more to Masha than I've discovered. I laugh and answer, of course there is more. She's a woman and you guys never do understand us. Come on, now that I've apologized to everyone, let's see if Masha's ready. We get back to Masha and see she's deep in concentration, so she's not complete yet. However, she does realize we are there and asks, be seated and please maintain silence since I am practically finished. We sit for what seems like forever. The entire time I hear the video. Well, that's not right, as I hear the video being played so slowly it's incomprehensible. Finally, Masha looks up, smiles, and says, thank you, I am finished. I anxiously ask, well, Masha, were you able to discover anything? She smiles, turns the computer towards me, picks up her notepad and begins, present, Masha, C-130 somewhere in flight. A special thank you to a dear friend for her excellent input on this section. Yes, Stacy made a huge tactical error by sending this video to us. I have been able to glean more information from it than she realized. This will greatly aid Jennifer in finding her errant fiancé and might also help to distract my loving husband Jack. Jennifer questions me and I reply, first I would like to say, what I do is not an exact science, and I will have to speculate on some things, but I will explain my reasons for those speculations. I first examined in minute detail the video itself, the audio, and the background in the video. I have surmised they are currently located inside a concrete fortress located somewhere in the southwest United States, probably Texas or possibly Arizona. I also determined it's a private fortress without any windows, probably something similar to an old fallout shelter. Jennifer questions, how can you be sure? I smile at her and provide further information. The walls behind Stacy are made of concrete and have some Southwest pictures on them, but the video quality wasn't good enough that I could actually distinguish what was contained in the pictures. The cabinets are obviously not military-grade cabinets, so it must be a private fortress. The fluorescent lights are at a Kelvin temperature range which falls between 5000 K and 6500 K, which mimics outside light, so this fallout shelter was designed for comfortable long-term use. In addition, the video quality is not high enough to have been produced using military equipment. There is virtually no background noise on the video, which suggests the bunker is either underground or the walls are very thick. Now, the clothing which Stacy is wearing is a surplus American Army uniform before the modern digital camouflage patterns were used. Adding all these facts together allows me to surmise that she and Ben must be somewhere where conflicts still exist with the Mexicans. So that also limits the choices to Texas, which is the most active, and Arizona. Present. Yince, C-130 somewhere in flight. I am frickin' stunned. Where the hell has Masha been through this whole thing? I begin to take more seriously what Linus said earlier. Perhaps there is more here than meets the eye. I suggest we could send this video off to the network for video enhancement, if that would help you with the pictures on the wall. She smiles and replies, no, that would not be necessary. It might be more beneficial to have someone search the county records in Texas to see if a permit was obtained to build the fallout shelter. But there is always a chance those records have been destroyed or it was built without permits. Now would you like to know about the many lies she told? That has my total attention. She told lies. I quickly answer, heck yeah. Tell me about them. Masha cautions, there is one little thing to tell you which might upset you. However, do not let your emotions take control of your derriere. Jennifer, you were very unwise to react at all to this video because almost the entire video is a lie. First, Stacy finds you a very potent adversary and shows much fear of you. Second, she recognizes you are very intelligent. Third, and this is the part that will slightly upset you, Ben and she kissed, but it was not satisfying for her. Fourth, she and Ben did not conjoin, but she greatly wishes both of the previous to happen. And finally, she's troubled that you may find her and demolish their relationship. I shake my head at the extent of her report, and all I can ask is, how? Masha adds even more information. First, her posture revealed that she finds you a threat. Second, her inopportune laugh served to mask her fear. Third, her microfacial expressions, which are the nearly identical for everyone, showed her falsehoods when she talked about the kiss and the conjoining, especially on the conjoining. Then the timbre and pitch of her voice revealed her many deceptions. Now this exercise has greatly taxed my strength, and I need to call my wonderful husband and rest. So please excuse me. I replied, Masha, I don't know how to thank you. She requests, Jennifer, could you have a little talk with Jack and intervene on my behalf since I am concerned he will leave me due to revelations of my past. I look at Linus and ask, Linus, please go find Maria and ask her to order me a new mobile phone and get the search going on the records that Masha mentioned. I'm going to spend some time with Masha, and when you're complete, why don't the two of you get some sack time? It looks like you could use the R&R, just don't get too noisy and wake the rest of us up. Masha reclines as I take her uninjured hand. Look in her eyes, see some tears and promise, Masha, we all have skeletons in the closet of our past. I will have a long talk with Jack and make sure he totally understands, because I can tell you married him because you truly love him. Masha starts to cry and says, thank you, Jennifer. I lie beside her, hold her, and hope to God that all she's done for us doesn't wreck her marriage with Jack. So help me if that old scumsucker tries to leave her, I'll add him to my mortal enemies list. Present. Linus, C-130 somewhere in flight. Damn. So I was right. Masha is much more than I thought she was. I wonder if Jack knows? And what the hell is Yince doing talking about Maria and me like that? We only did it. You know, I don't even remember how many times. But they were all good. Damn, what a woman. But if Masha was a spy, it now makes me wonder what the hell Maria used to be. Screw it all. I just need to give Maria the messages and then hit the sack with her as I was ordered. Yeah, sometimes orders are really, really sweet. Present. Jack. Washington, D.C. Extended stay hotel. I make it to the hotel, pick up Vanya, and he laughs, good. Dada, come take me. God, I love this boy. I thought when I first found out Masha was pregnant that I was too damn old for a child. At least I was smart enough not to share this information with Masha. That all changed once Ivan was born. He's stolen my heart, and I miss the hell out of him when I'm not with him. I get a call from Maria telling me that because of the threat, we're all bugging out to Ben's cabin in Leadville. I'd been there before and knew it was a good location but had some issues. She also told me everything was being moved out of the extended stay hotel, and I needed to get my butt to DI as soon as possible. As I'm packing up the essentials for Vanya, I swear it takes more crap to take care of a baby than to go on an extended long-range patrol. The moving guys arrive and start packing things up. I get done, call the network, and ask them to send someone to get the vehicles. I think Yince forgot about them. Get a taxi for us and head to the airport. I sure the hell hope we don't run into issues at Dulles. We don't. We finally get on a flight. I get Vanya settled in. He's a damn good traveler, and finally have a chance to think. I remember when Ben first introduced me to Masha, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. First, because Ben was still in his celibate stage and didn't nail her himself, and second, because this damn beautiful woman was interested in me. It seemed too good to be true, but that feeling quickly passed. One thing led to another, and we were married. And then Masha sort of settled down into a good little soccer mom. I say sort of because there were always little things that bugged me, things that I couldn't put my finger on. And lately, with all the things my good little soccer mom Masha had been doing, all those feelings and even more are back with a vengeance. What the hell was she doing with a gun in her purse, and how in the hell does she seem to know so damn much about everything that's going on right now? Shit, has she just been playing me these years? Well, there's certainly much more to my loving soccer mom than I originally thought. Now how in the hell can I ask her about all this without getting her pissed off at me, because I sure as hell don't want to lose her? The flight attendant comes by and I decide I need a good snort, perhaps two, to help me figure this one out. Present Mira, in the water. The first helicopter required 2 magazines to destroy, but I only have 2 magazines left with an excessive number of helicopters left to eliminate. I accommodate considerable concern for the safety of Alexei and Ms. Morgan. I commence firing, then a most curious thing, even for me, eventuates. After a single shot, the helicopter erupts in flames, and the others retreat post-haste. Ms. Morgan questions, Mira, just what sort of gun is that? I giggle and reply, Ms. Morgan, it was not my shot which terminated the mosquito. Then my tympanic units detect a noise and I inform her. It appears the horses of air have arrived and nicked time. Ms. Morgan corrects me, Mira, that's the air cavalry in the nick of time. I am truly happy to be alive, and with my family, even if I am missing my sister Ira terribly. I notice Alexei has saved the canister with Lance Corporal Blaine's male procreation component, and I know that after some physical preparation on my part, I will finally, after these many years, carry my boyfriend's child. Now I must devise a method by which I inform him I will be the only female receptacle which can produce his offspring. Such magnificent information should be enticement enough to elicit the matrimonial union I still desire. I instantly infer a plan which will not only inform him, it will also metaphorically prick him for the many times he metaphorically pricked me. So I laugh and say, as you wish, Ms. Morgan. Present Liz, in the water. It's damn good having Mira back, and she seems happy as hell. I didn't realize how much I missed her, and damn it, also Ira. I guess I will always miss Ira now. Myra's right, Marine choppers show up in full force. Not just recovery choppers, but gunships patrol the area while we're rescued. They get us onto the choppers as quickly and safely as possible, but we're all, other than Mira, suffering from some hypothermia. She seems ecstatic, and she and Alexei take a corner and begin to talk. Once we're underway, one of the flight crew hands me a mobile phone. It rings. I answer it and hear, Ms. Elizabeth Morgan. It's good to know you're finally safe. I question, just who is this that I'm talking with? He replies, names aren't important right now. I ask, so, are you the one responsible for saving us? He answers, partially, but not entirely. I say, well then I still owe you a hell of a lot. He laughs and answers, oh no, Ms. Morgan. We all owe you and the Truth Network a huge debt that we can never repay. Now excuse me, is Miranda Sedankina with you? If so, I would like to speak with her. How does he know about her? I reply, yes, she is. And thank you again. If there's ever anything, he interrupts, just keep doing what you are doing with the Truth Network. That's what this country needs. I hand the phone to Mira and watch her closely as she speaks with the mystery man. It looks like she only says one word, then hangs up the phone and smiles. I ask her, Mira, who was that man? Mira grins and answers, a man from my very distant past. I question, well, what the hell did he say to you? She smiles, he addressed me as Tavarish. I ask, why would he call you Tavarish and what does it mean? She giggles, Ms. Morgan, it means comrade. Comrade. Now why the hell would he call her comrade? Dear listeners, next part of the story will be released soon. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.